Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast. It is going to be an electric show tonight. And I just want to say shout out real quick to one of my favorite Mooch Maniacs in the chat there, Ben Law here. He says, Mooch is not late. When he arrives, it's always on time. Ben, you couldn't have said it any better. I appreciate you being here. Guys, please do tweet it out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Mooch, everybody sets goals, right? Some people, they want to lose a lot of weight the new year. Some people, they want to get a new job, right? I want to hit 10,000 subscribers. We can make it happen together. I feel like it's a telethon. Listen, let's just get excited about tonight. We'll talk about the 10,000 subscribers another night. I also want to take this moment right now to let everybody know that I graciously thank every single Mooch Maniac channel member. I want to say a shout out to the Mooch Maniacs. We've got Longshot 316, JudaZuk, Sir X-Man, our newest Mooch Maniac, Michael Chirichello. Great to have Michael here. Appreciate that. I got my major Mooch Maniac, who's also on the show tonight, Wilmy Hood. And then VIP Mooch Maniacs, Biggie2316 and Doggy Dog 420. Remember, when you become a part of the Mooch Maniac crew, you will always be remembered. Every single show, you'll be brought up, and you will be catered to. That's just the way this show works, folks. Okay? I'm old school. Don't blame me. But let's get into it. We've got an outstanding show. I put together one of the best panels I could do. I'm telling you right now, these guys know what they're talking about. The first guy you know all too well, it's Xbot448. Xbot, how the hell are you doing tonight?
What's going on, people? What is going on, Mooch? Another Friday is here, the beginning of the Gamers Weekend. And Mooch, if you don't mind, I got to do it right off the bat. We have such an awesome panel. I just got to say it right off the bat. Battletoads!
God bless you. Every single time, God bless you, buddy. I love it. Listen, I got to tell you, I can't wait. And we're going to need you to do that a few times tonight. I'm not going to lie to you because you're going to have to keep that amped up. We need to be amped for Xbox tonight. And I need you to do that, Xbox, okay?
I got espresso in my veins, brother. Well,
speaking of that, let me just go ahead and introduce the next guest we got on tonight, who is a Nespresso fan, okay? He's a major maniac. Wilmy Hood. Wilmy, welcome back to the show, buddy. It is so great to have you here. I appreciate it. And how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, dude. And yeah, I am jacked up on fucking caffeine like you would not believe. I've been off for 3 weeks from doing podcast. Let's fucking do it.
I can't thank you enough for being here, Wilmy. It truly means a lot. I want to say shout out and thanks to Doggy Dog, who reminds everybody that the super chat is working. Thank God. Happy Friday, Mooch Maniacs. Thank you, Doggy Dog. I appreciate that. And shout out to Mass Murders, who's been with me since day one as well, who also became a Mooch Maniac today. Mass Murder, don't think you won't be recognized throughout today and every single week going forward. Thank you for that, Mass Murder. I appreciate it. But let's go on to our next guest that I've got with me here. I've got a guy that literally stopped by CrossFire on his birthday. Okay? That's BRAP. That's B for birthday, BRAP. Enrique, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight? Good to have you here.
Woo! 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 Dude, I'm excited. Woo! I'm excited. I'm excited to be back on CrossFire. Break. I just want to say something. Not to sound creepy.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
outside the Wilmy Hood residence right now. I'm trying to get a little Nespresso. Just saying. Just saying. Let me in, Wilmy.
Say hi to my pit bull Lilith by the gates.
Wilmy, I'm picturing the opposite of the Juan Valdez commercials. Usually Juan Valdez shows up at the outside, pours the cup inside. He's got his cup on the outside and wants you to pour it to him. Okay, listen, this is great. This is fantastic. Everybody's amped. Some people are drinking liquor. Some people are drinking coffee. We don't care what you're doing here. It's going to be a great Friday. I appreciate it. And then I've got my buddy here. I've got Salty Gaming. Salty, honestly, buddy, thanks for being here 2 weeks in a row. I can't thank you enough. You have been on fire on Twitter. The Saltiest Gaming Podcast has been unbelievable. I want to say thanks. And how you doing tonight?
Good, man. Last night was awesome. It was more of like an Xbox panel, but it was fun, man. It's fun to talk games. I got my coffee here, doing my keto diet to start the year. Yeah, I'm ready to talk some games. Let's go.
I appreciate it, Salt, and I'm glad you're here. And I got to be honest with you. Sometimes it just depends on how you kind of orchestrate the panel. And sometimes it's more Xbox heavy. Sometimes it's a little bit more PlayStation heavy. Tonight's a really great mix. So I'm excited to see what everybody's going to say. I want to say thanks so much to Rumple Fortskin for becoming a Mooch Maniac. I appreciate that.
Rumple!
Outstanding to have Rumple, by the way. I tell you, it's Friday when that logo shows up. Let me just say that much. Okay? That's a big deal. And then I've got another usual suspect that's with me all the time, Gaming Forte. Forte, not only is it great to have you here because your ear's always to the ground in the business, but you are super on time today, and I want to say thank you. That means so much to the Mooch. It was right. So many people say, "Oh, is Forte going to be here?" Forte's here, and he's on time. Forte, thank you.
I feel your pain, Mooch.
Right? It's his MO, though.
Whoa!
It's his MO.
Don't make me pull the curtain back on what happened on Brap the last day when we couldn't even get into the podcast because somebody locked the whole podcast out of Discord.
He does bring up a point, Enrique. I'm watching the show and all I keep seeing is you, and I'm like, where's his panel?
And then he throws us under the bus saying, "Hey guys, I don't know where my panel is. They all missed it. I don't know if they go show up." As we're in Discord, hitting the button saying, "Bro, this ain't working."
Sir, usually you guys are there like 10 minutes after. Come on, man.
No, okay. But no, it is great to be here. And it's great to see Enrique because this gives me a whole 2 hours to convince him that I've fallen and I can't get up.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Guys, the energy tonight
Enrique
through the
knows
roof.
what that means.
I love it already. And last but certainly not least, his first appearance on Crossfire. It is Dreadpool. I met him and hung out with him with Wilmy the very first time we got a chance to conversate and talk games. It was fantastic. Dreadpool, welcome to Crossfire, buddy. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I can't wait to discuss the topics we have tonight. So,
I'm telling you, it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be I don't think it's gonna get heated. I think it's just gonna be a good debate, as we like to say on Crossfire, right?
It's going to be divisive.
It might be. It just might be. Well, let's get to it, guys. We got a lot of people here. Guys, real quick, please do hit the like button, tweet it out, let people know, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Here we go. I don't even know where to go. I'm going to go with Enrique. Enrique, I spoke to you so much today on the DMs about this. Okay, so Matt Booty comes out, and you've got a couple of great quotes yourself, by the way, that you were sending to me that you've seen over the course of the past generation that all kind of play a role in what Matt was saying. Xbox Series X exclusive games start about a year after launch. Now, that doesn't mean things like you're not going to get Halo Infinite. Okay, Halo Infinite, of course, to Xbox, we got that. What they're trying to say, I think what Matt's trying to say is the exclusive usage of power that we can expect to see out of the Series X, we won't see it for the first year till about maybe holiday 2021. Enrique, how did you take Matt's words? How did you interpret them? And how do you think people should interpret them as they decide making a purchase later on this year?
Well, I think Microsoft basically said you don't have to have an Xbox One, or I keep calling it Xbox One X. I do why too. I do
too.
Yeah. I like my wife heard me say, you keep saying sex when you podcast. What are you talking about? I'm like, I'm talking about a console, honey. I promise you.
I swear.
No, I swear. Yeah, sure you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about my hand, honey.
Yeah, honey, my hand. Oh, Salty, come on. AJ, come on.
Don't mind the little wigs on my fingers and the lipstick on my, okay.
Damn.
Yeah. It puts the lotion in the basket. So
well, we know that you spend a lot of time at Bath and Body Works, sir.
Hey, come on. Not like this. Come on, Forte. Not like this, man. Not like this. So now I forgot the question Mooch asked me, man. Come on.
Well, basically,
I'm going to ask you how many times you masturbate per week.
Let me tell you something. Masturbation is actually great for the prostate. Seriously.
See, that's what I've heard
about this. So,
Dr. Brad,
as long as you use a towel.
Okay, so anyhow,
do it in the shower. Fuck it.
What? Yeah. So Matt Booty. Jesus.
Matt Booty.
Yeah, Matt. Woo.
Matt
and
Booty.
here's the name to go with it. Booty. There you go. Let's do it.
Oh my.
He looks at booty every time he does
great.
it.
No, so basically, I basically interpret it like, so Microsoft doesn't want to leave anyone behind, and they've talked about that for years, and I get that. That's cool, but Mooch, it kind of reinforced, or just made me feel better about. I shouldn't say feel better, but it made me nod my head, like, you know what? I'm glad I went PC, because I went PC I have access to Game Pass Ultimate. And I think at the end of the day, this is basically saying what Microsoft's been saying all along is, hey, look, I don't think they really care about selling hardware as they much do care about keeping people in the ecosystem, keeping people to subscribe, keeping people, in that, hopefully in Game Pass.
Buying software, subscriptions, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I get that. That's fine. But I will say this. I mean, I can understand why people are disappointed too, Mooch, because when you buy new hardware and you're out there and you're hearing about the 12 teraflop monster and this console eats monsters, I can get why somebody might say, you know what? I don't want them to focus and make games for the lesser powered, console specs or hardware and focus on the Xbox Series X. And I get that. 12 teraflops, you hear that. Microsoft hasn't officially said that, but you're hearing that. If you're up, if you're following the Twitters, if you're following what a lot of the media sites have said about this machine, Digital Foundry, 12 teraflops, it's a beast. 56 compute units.
You want to come home and play the games that you just purchased a $500-$600 box for.
Yeah, and you want to see. I mean, I think any enthusiast console hardcore gamer, when we buy these new machines, we want to see these things spec the fuck out. Excuse my language. We do. And I'll say this. I understand these games are scalable. And I'm not saying that like a game like Halo Infinite is not going to look good on the Series X. It will look good. But what every developer has told me, and Mooch, this is why I share these tweets with you. And by the way, I don't have the biggest channel in the world, but I've been lucky. I've been very privileged to have conversations with guys like Mike Laidlaw.
Absolutely.
He's the guy that worked on Mass Effect, Dragon Age. I've had conversations with Jaffe. I've had conversations with other smaller developers. I had a guy on my show who worked on Halo ODST. He worked on Ghost Recon. And I can tell you one of the things they say, this is why I share this with you, Mooch, is that they say that when you're developing a game, right, and you're developing a game where you're developing it for multiple platforms,
yes,
you're basically locking yourself into a compromising situation. You basically have to compromise and make, sacrifices in some sense to get these games to run on all platforms. And that's not to say that like a game like Halo Infinite, for example, is going to look bad. But there's something to be said for that, and I don't think anyone should say, "Oh, well, you know what? I don't care. It's going to play. It's going to play in all systems. So who cares?" You know what? It's not that. It's that people that spend $500-$600 on new hardware. They want these games to they don't want to feel like, you know what? In the back of my mind, maybe this game was compromised. Maybe this game would look better if they really just focus development on the particular.
Get him, Forte.
But Forte, you can say, "Oh Lord," but we've seen this on PCs, except for your PC, Forte, because your PC is a little bit older than me and Mooch's.
My PC, sir.
Wait, hold on. But seriously, Mooch, you and I've seen I've been on PC. Let me finish.
A lot longer than you, sir.
That's okay. I'm new to PC Master Race.
You knew with that brand new 2070 that is not even as good as my 1080 Ti.
I don't know about that. Sir.
It's not.
1080 ray tracing.
The only thing your car has is a feature that takes your frame rate called RTX.
Yeah, you know what though? My frame rates are still higher.
Your frame rate is not higher than my.
Sir, my frame. I bet you my frame rates are still higher.
Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm not gonna. We can take this conversation that you're saying right now because it's complete asinine. Let me tell you something. There is a big difference. There is
Forte, let me finish real quick.
What the biggest difference in PC and Xbox when it comes to stuff being held back? You even know what that is?
It's a brap off.
That's my point, though. The optimization, though,
it's not even the optimization. Look,
it is the optimization, but this. Let me finish. Hold on. But we've seen this, like Mooch and I talk about like our rigs, right? And we have multi-core CPU, and Wilmy has a CPU that's not even out yet. So our multi-core actually they just unveiled Wilmy CPU at the CES. That Threadripper, that's like $4,000.
They had to borrow it from him just to show it on stage.
Yeah, they did. Wilmy was the beta for it. So, but like we've seen like with our PCs, like our PCs haven't seen the full benefit of what our PCs can do because the consoles aren't there yet. But this console generation, we will see the benefits of higher specs. Developers can target higher specs. We'll see developers start making games with multi-core CPUs in mind, which Mooch, you and I have, and I think maybe Salty, I don't know your specs, but you probably have as well. And we're going to see better for that. My point is this: is that there's still some compromise involved in developing across multiple platforms, consoles more specifically, and that's just my point. Like, it's not a bad thing. But wait, it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying
they have to compromise, though, dude. Like we're talking about.
But the point. But wait. But the point is they will. That's the point.
Oh my goodness, dude. What about the people? What about the people who are fans of the Xbox that can't necessarily get the day one, can't jump in there day one. They still get games to play for
I'm not disputing that though. So, but Xbox, I'm not disputing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying the reality of the matter is you have people out there saying there's no compromises when in fact developers are saying yes, they are compromises. And that's not to say that a game like Halo Infinite is going to look better.
Well, every generation there's a compromise. It doesn't. I mean. It doesn't work. I mean, every time a new system is released, there's always a compromise.
How did Rise look on the 360?
Excuse me?
How did Rise
on the 360?
Thank you.
Okay, so you named one game, but Destiny was on both systems. But there was a compromise there.
Okay,
Call of Duty was on both systems. There was a compromise there. Battlefield 4 was on both systems. Trust me.
But now,
there was a distinct difference. Hold on. There was a distinct. Hold on.
We're not getting exclusives.
Wasn't there a distinct difference between Battlefield 4 on Xbox 360 and Xbox One? Didn't you go from 32 players per game to 64 with the Xbox One?
I think you're. Hold on. Wait. Hold up.
Forte.
Go ahead, Enrique. Finish, then Forte. I gotta get these other guys in here.
Forte, the difference is, though, yes, they were compromises, but we had exclusive content that was specific to the Xbox One. You had games like Rise. You couldn't do a game like Rise on the 360. It couldn't be done.
It was on the 360, by the way.
But that's my point.
That comes down to memory constraint, though. That's the biggest culprit of all. I think when it comes to older systems, couldn't handle that type of stuff.
Forte, let me add this real quick, and then I want to go to Salty and Wilmy here. I want to get a couple guys in here. I want to say this much, and Forte, I see where you're coming from. I think Forte's hitting a technical. He's making a technical point, and I think Forte makes a great point. But I do want to say this much: everybody that's an Xbox fan, myself included, has been told, wait. Just wait. Wait till you see next generation. We're coming out with the best, the boldest, the strongest. You fill in the blank. So now we wait, and then the minute you get to the starting gate, they're like, okay, wait. And you're like, what? I just waited. So my point is,
they're not telling you to wait. They're being transparent on what they're doing.
But did we complain about the wait? Okay, with the exception of like games like Dead Rising, where performance was just trash, and that wasn't even a game that was on all systems. That was only on new gen. So with the exception of games like that, weren't we wowed by the games we were seeing when this generation started? Even knowing there were games that were cross-platform between different systems.
Let me get Salt. What's your take on this? I want to hear your opinion on. No, because I think that Enrique and Forte are making points. I throw that counterpoint out there. Salt, what was your take when you read it? What was your feelings then and now?
All right. So when I woke up this morning, I had to rub my eyes a little bit extra. I thought I was seeing double. Thought I was in another dimension. I was literally a spit take. If I had anything in my mouth, it would have flew out of my mouth because I read these. I read the stuff that was going on. No, but seriously, the problem with this is the messaging. All right.
Yes.
What the message? So Xbox is running a charity over here. He's like, think of the people that still have that fat Xbox and they can't upgrade. It's like, no, we're not thinking about that. This is a next gen system.
I'm thinking about the entire community.
You're trying to sell this product as a business, and you're doing a shit job of it. Okay, that's the plain and simple. I don't care. Cross your T's and dot your I's. Right. That's what's going on here because they did a fantastic job at the Game Awards. Right. Of this reveal, and it just seems like every time Phil Spencer says something, it just gets counteracted by Matt Booty when he does an interview. And that's like, I read these interviews, and I'm like, are you guys trying to sell next generation? Or do you not give a shit? Because what it does seem like, it's just like, nah, we don't really care if you buy this console, you could stay here or whatever, because we all know Game Pass is the bread and butter for Xbox. That's their identity. Okay, so that's all good and well, but you're still selling hardware, right? You're in the hardware business, so sell me fucking hardware, right? Because the thing is, if I go to a car dealer and they're like, man, you could buy this, but you don't have to. Am I going to buy the car? No, I'm not, right? So the thing is, are you in the business to sell hardware? Are you in the business to sell Game Pass? Because what it feels like to me is there, because I put this information on Twitter and it got lots of traction. People got annoyed by it. It was comedy on my part because it's satire, right? I said, behold, the new marketing strategy for the Xbox Series X. And I have this dude in front of a table that says there's no reason to buy an Xbox Series X for at least 2 years after launch. Changed my mind, because literally that's what's happening, because every single thing they try to do seems to counteract one another. It's like, are you selling next generation? Or are you telling me to keep my Xbox One X? Because what it seems like is you're telling me to keep my Xbox One X. And if that's the case, then why do you even have this hardware? Like, why are you even coming up?
I agree with that 100%.
What they're saying is, if you want to keep your Xbox One X for, up until kind of like 2022, there's no problem with that. The games are still going to run on that. So, and when it comes to Mooch, remember, we've been talking about forwards compatibility and
yes, absolutely.
No generations and stuff like that.
But here, let me finish. You guys were going off for like 20 minutes, man.
I wasn't. Enrique was.
All right, so I'll finish and then you can counteract it or whatever. This will be real Crossfire because it's about to get real here.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. So the thing is, like I said before, I put this out on Twitter. You're telling people in this interview, right? I have it up on my. I wish I could share my screen with you. They're pretty much telling you. It says, as our content comes out over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will be playing up and down on all of our devices, right? So what? And then I bought an Xbox One X, and they told me it was going to be a monster, right? It's going to be the most powerful console ever made. But what happened? It's a small user base. And what happened? A lot of developers weren't pushed into optimizing for that system. So the PS4 Pro on multiple occasions had better performance. And that shouldn't happen if you have the world's most powerful console. Now I see a repeat of this because the Xbox Series X is going to have a small pool of hardcore gamers that are willing to buy and pony up for the system, not having true console exclusives. They just want to have power. And then what happens with these third-party developers, which is 90% of the content that you play, they're not pushed to optimize for these consoles because it's happened before. The most powerful system, and I went back and forth in a debate with people. If you have the most powerful system and it's a closed platform, it should be a closed-end book. It should be all the time that you have the best performance, not some of the time, not most of the time. So there's no pressure on third-party publishers to turn out exclusives that look good. You know what I'm saying? It's we'll optimize it if we feel like optimizing it. Maybe not. I mean, this is a small pool. Do you get what I'm saying? So we've seen it with the Xbox One X already, the most powerful console. And I feel like we're repeating that with the next gen console. Now you can crossfire whatever you want to do, man.
Hey, Salty, I just want to piggyback on what Salty said. And this is actually a quote from a developer who wrote an article on Digital Foundry. He said, one of the first things that you have to address.
How long ago?
It was the beginning of this console generation, as a matter of fact.
Oh, so 2013?
Yeah, but it has to do with power. And so this holds true.
An article from 2013 where
but Xbox, but this
now,
Xbox.
Hear what he has to say. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
I'm putting proper context on this, brother.
This holds true today. It holds true today because we're talking about power. So this is, and it speaks to what Salty said. Salty gave examples. We've all seen this. Yep. We've all seen this with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. We've seen this. He said, this developer says, one of the first things that you have to address when developing a game is what you're, I'm sorry, that's not it. As a developer, you cannot be driven by the most powerful console, but rather the high middle ground that allows your game to shine and perform across multiple machines. And that hasn't changed. And I actually brought that quote to developers that I've talked to, and they've all, yeah, that's pretty true.
Well, dude.
So, I mean, what
one of the things, damn, man. Really?
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Dude, one of the main reasons that Phil Spencer decided to push forward the R&D and development for the One X, because through that whole point in time, people were talking about native resolution and power as like the end all be all. So he's like, all right, shoot, let's put this out there. All right. When it comes down to it, first off, we don't know what Halo Infinite the game is actually gonna look like. So we're all jumping the gun here, and just because games can be developed, scaled down to the Xbox One and stuff like that, you're automatically thinking it's gonna look like freaking Roblox
I didn't say that.
or Minecraft.
I never said that.
But here's the deal. When it comes down to it, I like what they're doing there for the community. And yeah, Salty, I talk about the community. I'm on YouTube. I owe it to the community to think about them as much as I have my own opinion. All right? That's what everybody on YouTube should do.
But the thing, Xbox. So you were doing that for people on the 360, right? If they didn't want to upgrade, you were doing charity drives for them, right? Or the narrative. The narrative has changed, right?
YouTube.
Okay.
Then.
Tell me about the community. This is about technology and moving.
You should think about them as well.
No, trust me. I think all about community.
You didn't act like that just 2 minutes ago.
Trust me. You acting like you're running charities for people that can't upgrade their system is a joke to me.
No, I'm thinking about the community.
You are. You're like, I'm thinking about the people on the Xbox Fat. That thing is a 720p box, and it's a joke.
I got a question.
We're going to be having games on that in 2022.
Go ahead,
Who's making the
joke?
Who's making the popcorn?
Sounds like me and you, Wilmy.
I've been eating popcorn for the last.
Wilmy, I'm outside your window right now. I got popcorn.
All right, dude. Let me open the gate.
I do want Wilmy, I'll go to you right now. I think everybody here, listen, and I got to be honest with you. Let me just defend everybody on the panel right now, okay? Because I got to say, Salty, Enrique, Xbot, making some great points, and they both have respected opinions on both sides of the category. Wilmy, what's your take? And I mean, the easy thing is, shout out to Pred, who's in the chat. Great friend of the show, great friend of mine. Pred, he says, just get a PC, guys. Here's my thing. Before we just go to that, right?
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Before you just go there, Wilmy, what was your take, not only from where you are yourself, but how should gamers kind of look at this going forward as we approach the new console generation when we saw what happened to the Xbox One X?
I don't know why anybody was shocked. I mean, this was sort of old news, wasn't it? I mean, Matt Booty had said this a while ago. You'll still have Halo, but I mean, they're not going to make anything exclusive for a year or two. I mean, and sometimes it's actually just the developers themselves. And I kind of agree with Xbox. Maybe Microsoft's trying to ease people into the generation, and maybe not. And maybe it's just a plot to sell Game Pass. But I mean, they're the world's largest software developer. I don't think they really care about selling the hardware that much.
Mm-hmm. As long as it gets people into the ecosystem, whether they're playing on Xbox One, Series X, on their PC, they're subscribing to Game Pass, they are playing their software.
You're in their ecosystem. That's it. That's exactly what they're after. Because, I mean, as much as a lot of us hate it, everything's fucking subscription based.
Here's the thing, though, Wilmy, and I want to ask you this because you do game on everything, and I got to be honest with you. So I understand that they want to get into the subscription-based company there, but the thing about it is this, the business there. But the issue I have with it, first and foremost, is first of all, that subscription-based bubble is starting to burst, first of all. Second of all, people are electing to go to the Steam route versus the Windows store, okay? The third thing is this. Right now, Microsoft's claim to fame to getting people on Game Pass is through the console. I think we can all agree with that, right? So they're already turning people off when you hear something like this. They're losing 2-1 this generation. Okay, fine, we're past that. That's an old conversation. Let's not beat a dead horse. But now you have someone like myself that says, okay, I'm willing to go ahead and buy another 2 consoles from you. You know, I have 2 respected areas in the house that I console game. And then all of a sudden I find out that, Halo Infinite will be playable on all consoles. Again, as Xbox said, that's not a surprise to anybody, or it shouldn't be if you're this far into the console generation and been keeping track. But then you find out that we're not going to be able to find out that the box that I'm going to go spend money on, I'm not going to be able to utilize the true power of that for a year, maybe longer. Now, again, Xbox, it's not a deterrent. I'm just saying to you, like, for you, but for myself, I say to myself now, okay, I have a PC that's capable of playing games. I have an Xbox One X, which is very capable of playing their games. And why do I need to go? Do I need to go buy a Series X?
Well, you're set right there if that's where you want to be at. But when it comes to games being playable on the series of systems and on the one family of systems, right? Dude, who says that they're going to compromise on the top when you can see the there's a possibility the drastic nature will be on the bottom tier. They're not trying to make parity here. All right. When it comes down to it, maybe a few structural things like frames per second or something like that, but they're going to put like all the bells and whistles that they can absolutely put in to the series side of things, but they're still going to let people get involved with the game on the lower end. It'll still be
compromised no matter as long as the game is playable everywhere.
Like I said, there's going to be no parity. The funny thing here to me is like at the beginning of the generations, all right, there's always like a kind of like a fuzzy start to begin with. You know what I'm saying? No matter what console you get, you look at what happened with the Switch, and they basically had one game for like months. You look at PlayStation when it came out, its launch lineup was completely dry. You look at Xbox, and yeah, they had a lot of second party deals. And so at least with this round coming around, if traditions stay the same, then Sony could possibly have a weak launch lineup. At least with Xbox, you're getting games like Halo, possibly Forza Motorsport and stuff like that, stuff from their first party at launch. All right, so when it's all said and done, I think these games are going to look really good on the more powerful system. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of gamers in the community.
But hold on, Forte. I don't want to take the mic away from you, but if I don't, I've got some super chats. I want to pay attention to the audience here. Sir X-Man says, and thank you, Sir X-Man says, why does Xbox keep shooting themselves in the foot? We also have Elemental PO. Shout out to Elemental PO. He says, so should we as consumers settle for less from Sony when a competitor is able to deliver more? Sony is lowering a bar, and we have no choice. Now, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Elemental PO, but we're going to come back to that in a second because I have an idea where you're going with that. I apologize while I'm scrolling down here, guys. Elemental PO comes back again with a fantastic super chat. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. He says, I tend to agree with dealer's analysis. Matt Booty said 2 years of cross-gen titles, no exclusives. You have to serve the consumers. You have the older hardware like the X. There's something to that too, Elemental PO. And he says, Matt Booty also said that they will have games picked to the max. Pardon me. Matt Booty also said they will have games, he says picked here, picked to max.
Spec to max.
Okay, spec. My bad. He spelled it wrong. To max out the hardware. Halo Infinite is one of them. And
Matt Booty said that they're going to pick a couple titles where when it comes to first party, within this time that they're going to fully spec out. And yes, it's going to be playable on the lower systems, but again, the parity is going to be on the no parity is going to be on the lower side. It's not going to look.
Well, I want to get to that real quick. John Mendoza also says cross-gen has nothing to do with Xbox Game Pass. It's very simple. Xbox does not want to spend $100 million plus for a new exclusive game for a brand new install base that is limited to first adopters. John, not a bad point. Not a bad point at all. And last yes.
Real quick, I want to throw some gasoline on this fire.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know who doesn't have to compromise?
Who?
PlayStation 5.
Oh God!
It's kind of true,
they got a fire logo right now.
They do. It's trending. It's trending.
That logo is amazing, man. My nipples are still rock fucking hard from seeing that.
Mine are too, Wilmy. I'm not gonna lie.
Phil Pyromancer says, so did Microsoft give up on the console war if they don't care about people buying its high-end console at all, but just have the subs to their ecosystem within Game Pass? Phil Pyromancer, a good point as well.
That's all they want, subs.
The thing is like, why is Microsoft in the hardware business still? Is because it makes sense dollars wise. That's all it does, right? If they could have a perfect world, they'd just be a software company, because that's what they
Salty,
are.
I don't think they ultimately, and I've been saying this for years. Well, not years, but like the last year or so. They want to they want to be the Netflix of gaming, but they can't transition. They can't make that pivot, that complete 100 pivot to not providing hardware, because you still need hardware to play video games. You still need hardware to play video games. So they can't just completely get out of the hot tub per se. They got to have one foot in, and so that's why I think you still see them making hardware. But ultimately, I mean, Microsoft is a software as a services based company. they are going to. I keep telling people this. Don't be surprised one day if you see, Xbox on the Xbox app logo on a Nintendo Switch or on your TV.
Exactly, or
that's
on
where
your Samsung television.
Yeah, on a Samsung. That's where they want to go. And you know what?
This all proves the point, right? And Wilmy, if this is what we're saying, is that if that's the intent, then just stop. Why are we paying $600 this holiday?
They can't, Mooch. They can't
Well,
leave console
for me, I mean, everybody knows I'm mainly a PC gamer, but I mean, honestly, my PC weighs 90 pounds. My Alienware, which is my smaller PC, my Area 51 PC, still weighs about 50 to 60 pounds. I want something I can just go to my television, turn on, and boot up a game.
Okay.
I don't always want to play on my PC.
So Wilmy, I have a question for you.
Difference for a lot of people.
There's super chats you got to get through, Mooch.
Yeah,
Wilmy, is your CPU 30 pounds in?
Dude, I don't know. This thing.
Real quick, I'll do a shout out real quick to Gotham Guy. And Gotham Guy, it's been too long since you've been here, Gotham Guy, unless you've been lurking, and I haven't seen you. Gotham, welcome back. He says, I don't think you guys realize how much the Halo franchise will affect the console launch. Any hardcore Halo Infinite, basically fan, will buy the better box to play it on, plain and simple. And I gotta be honest with you. There's something to that, but I'm not really buying that hook, line, and sinker. I'm not.
Hey, the best place to play Halo Infinite would be PC, right?
PC, and that's the thing that I really want.
Not Forte's PC.
Not Forte's my PC would be the beast. But that's the thing that I really want people to understand. I think people just kind of misinterpret what the actual conversation should be. Why are you buying what you're buying should be the reason you should think about all this stuff. Do you care about power? If power is what you care about, then Xbox and PlayStation shouldn't even be in your vocabulary. It should always be a PC. I always been telling people for the longest, the reason I buy Xbox is not because of power. I buy it for the friends that I want to play the games with on that system. That is the only reason I buy Xbox at this point. At one point, I bought it for the exclusives. Exclusives dried up, and then they put their games everywhere. Now I can play on PC and play those same exclusives. So I don't have to have the exclusive argument to keep a system in my house for Xbox. Where PlayStation, that is still a meaningful reason to keep the system. But Xbox is the only reason I buy the new Xbox is to play games that play those first party games or play any game that's on console with Luca, with Brad, with everybody in the community that want to. That's the reason I will buy an Xbox. That is the reason I play on PC, because of power. So if you care about power, play where it makes sense for you. Don't worry about everybody else. If you want to play on console and you want the most powerful version of a console, buy the Xbox Series X. If you want a better experience, play on PC. That's literally what it comes down to, and people literally just need to get that through their mind. It does not matter what anybody else thinks about this. It matters what you want to do. Don't let all this other stuff get in the way of the decision you need to make for yourself, because if you want to go out and spend $600 on the Xbox Series X to play better games, that's fine, but do it because that's the system you want to play on, and it's all that matters to you.
I think I have one little wrench I got to throw into that cog you just
go
had
ahead.
There, right? And that wrench is this. We saw it on the Xbox One X. Now, we saw it did come to fruition and show its power with Red Dead Redemption 2, but games like Rage 2 and Borderlands 3, the Xbox One X either got the inferior version or settled for parity.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is, you're telling them, wait, Forte, you're saying to people right now, you're saying, go out there, you want power, get the powerful one, and enjoy the power. Here's what I'm saying. They're going to go out there, they're going to put their money down, expect the power, and not get it.
No, let me ask you this. But what are you comparing? Now, if you're comparing it to another system like PlayStation,
no. I'm comparing it. I'm going developer.
Are you comparing it to the original Xbox One S?
He's talking about third-party optimization.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Third-party optimization.
If they're not going to optimize
you can't because look,
even though first party's not coming out for a year or two.
What's the majority of games that are going to be played on the systems? 95% is third party, especially
always
at the beginning of the generation, right? That's going to be what's being played. So if you're buying this for power, it's a closed system that you can't change the settings.
Right.
Going to be optimized the way these developers choose.
Exactly.
And we've already seen this with the Xbox 1x, because bottom line, if you want to have true optimization on your platform, it's going to happen with your first party. So past that, it's out of control, right? It's up to these developers if they want to optimize. If they don't, whatever. So if it's all about those first party games, if those are there, which they're not typically there in the beginning of the generation, right, then what are you using your power on? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you getting the most powerful console if you're not for sure going to get the true optimization in every third-party game?
Let me real quick read a couple of super chats, and I want to go to Dreadpool because Dread, I apologize, I'm going to get to you right now, so get ready. Shout out to Z Black Rider, who says Xbox greatest software, greatest hardware, Moochie, yeah. Z Black Rider, appreciate that enthusiasm. Fail Pyromancer says Halo is a tired franchise. New players don't care. Don't know about that, Fail. We'll find out. We'll find out about that real quick, and then I've got a couple of. John, I want to welcome our newest Mooch. I welcome our newest Mooch Maniac, JB Cash. He says, "What's up?" I appreciate that, JB. Thank you. You will not be forgotten at all. Every week you will be mentioned and remembered and brought up. And then I've got John Mendoza. He says, "Nobody, including Microsoft, is forcing you to be a first adopter. Even PC gamers who buy 2080 Ti's do not get the full benefit of their card because developers develop for the broadcast hardware." That's a great point, John. Shout out to John Mendoza with that. Dreadpool. I want to hear from Dread, guys, because Dread, I know you got a lot to say on this. You're a very passionate gamer and you're very active in the community. What's your take on all of this before we go on to our next subject?
My take is, I've listened to you all talk for 45 minutes.
I know. Sorry about that, Dread.
So you all have good points. You all have you're all right, and at the same time you're all wrong. Okay, but it's your opinion, and it's what you've experienced and your thoughts. Okay, so your thoughts aren't wrong. Your opinions are not wrong. It's what it is. Now, here's the thing. When we went to
it's a very nice way to disagree with people. I like that.
Yes, exactly right. Mr. Rogers. So.
It's
when you go from day in the neighborhood. Yeah, I don't have a sweater. When you go from the original Xbox to the 360, right? What do we get? We got Call of Duty 2. Those were amazing graphics.
Yes,
but eventually we got Call of Duty 3, which superseded those graphics even better. I mean, you're like, holy crap! I can't believe they still were able to pull this out of this console.
Absolutely.
So as everybody's always worried about what games we're going to get as per launch. Well, the games we're going to get are going to look phenomenally better, but not as good as they do towards the end of the life cycle.
I agree.
Okay? Everybody figures out little tweaks. We didn't like this, but we're going to change this. Okay, well, this actually works. Why do you think some of the games were offloaded onto the GPU on the X? Because it was able to handle more processing to help alter it. So now you also have, what do we have? Forza 5. It looked great, but Forza 6, threw it under the bus.
Right.
We have all these games that are doing this. Same thing with PC, like you said with the cards. The cards aren't optimized until more games are able to figure, to utilize it. So these developers have to learn the ins and outs of these systems. So there's look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Where's the HDR? Everybody was loving it. Well, the HDR wasn't there because they developed it so far into the future or into the past that when the future happened, they didn't have anything ready for it. So their engine was not designed for HDR.
Okay, so Dread, you've made some great points, and a lot of what you're saying really does kind of piggyback what John Mendoza was saying. So shout out to John again in the chat for the super chat. Thank you, Dread. Let me ask you this then. So what you're telling me and what John's telling me is, I don't need to buy it this holiday. I can wait for holiday 2021.
If you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course I know I can, but I'm saying hypothetically, right? Naturally, right? But I mean, what I'm saying
or Xbox, they're saying the same thing. You can play those games now on your lesser systems.
Yep.
They're not going to look good. We know that. Everybody's all upset about the OG Xbox One that, everybody's going to get left behind or screw those guys. Well, no, you know what? They're not going to get left behind, but they will eventually, just like our cell phones. Our Android phones are eventually not working. Our iPhones are eventually not going to work because they've upgraded the software to the point where those phones will not be able to handle the new stuff. So you have apps, and once you upgrade to the newest revision of the software, that app no longer works on the last iPhone or
you're right.
So it's going to happen with these consoles. So the OG Xbox One will not go to 2050. It's not going to go that far.
2050.
I'm just saying,
No,
maybe.
Maybe. Oh, it's going to keep running. No, it's not. Eventually, the service is going to have to stop.
So
they're not going to be able to handle that much information to even be playable.
Dread. Yeah. I love you, dude. But so why did these these companies deemed it was necessary to have a mid-gen refresh?
Because they want. Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, back in the day, the mid-gen refresh gave you more.
So I'm gonna answer the question because I set you up for this one. Okay. It's because these systems weren't a true next-gen leap, right? They were gimped. So for the first time, I don't remember mid-gen refreshes happening in the past, right?
No.
So these companies basically admitted their failure, right? They said we came out with consoles that were not true next-gen consoles, so we got to right the ship and we got to put out mid-gen refreshes. So the thing is, if they were saying that and they already did that midway through this generation, but then we're still using the Xbox Fat, man, dang, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of that ideology. They deemed it necessary to put out an Xbox One X and a PlayStation 4 Pro because they felt like the current consoles just weren't good enough. But in 2022, potentially, we're going to be using that same Xbox One Fat. The weird thing is like there's games like Destiny, for example. Facts. They got to a certain point where they said, hey, 360 is not cutting this shit no more. We cannot do this, even as a bottom line, to do what we want to do with AI and the vastness of the worlds. We got to have a cutoff point. You know what I'm saying? So they said, for our creativity and our scope and our perspective for these games, we got to cut these dudes off.
And they have every right to do that because just like with the Series X, the Scarlet family is going to, if they want to do only for the Scarlet family, that's on them. Microsoft is going to support further back. They don't have to.
Dread, let me add a little bit more here because this is and I got to give credit where credit.
That's actually a great point by Dread. Like
it is.
Third party doesn't have to.
But here's the thing:
Xbox did the no quality. I thought we all do that though.
And I got to give credit where credit's due on this one. I read this one today. Crap Gamer actually said this on Twitter, and it was actually a great point. Crap made a point to say this. Okay. That when we're dealing with something like we're going into Xbox Series X, and yet at the same time, for at least the next foreseeable future, right, we're going to have to cater to the Xbox One Fat Day 1 edition at 1.3 teraflops. You could say all the things about scaling you want, but when it comes to AI intelligence, when it comes to broader worlds, if this game has to fit on the 1.3 teraflop, there is a limitation there. There is a limitation.
But the
because
AI and stuff like that will scale down to that. See,
not scale down. Listen, Xbox, the world itself can only they can only render so much and create so much on what is the Xbox One Fat Edition? You're gonna get to the end of the wall and drop off? I mean,
check this out. When it came to Halo Infinite, because like I think we're all in agreement that's going to be the one when the Series X launches, everybody's going to be looking at. It's the next Halo, and whether or not 343 finally made a full package Halo game, right? With that, they created a brand new engine. Why did they create that new engine? To fully take advantage of the system that is coming. Why would they do that? And then skimp out on the Series X edition of the game while still supporting Xbox One X, S, and Xbox One. Obviously, they have found a way to do that. And, of course, it's going to be the lower you go, the worse the game is either going to look in comparison to the Series X or whatnot. But they built that engine for that.
Let me do this. I got some super chats, and I do want to get to our other subjects real quick. Shout out to Z Black Rider again. He says, "Not like this, Dread. Not like this, cutthroats." I've got a bunch here. Shout out to Noximus. Nox, we miss you on the show, buddy. Hope work's not treating you too rough. Noximus here. I'm just going back up to it. Nox says, Microsoft has some pretty good momentum going, but I will agree they must obligate third-party developers into taking full advantage of the Series X power. I completely agree with that sentiment myself. And then let me see here. I've got shout out to Predator H2O. Always great to see Pred. He says Microsoft needs a custom console at launch. We're going to talk about that too later on, Pred, because I do want to get into it as well. I have Johnny Mendoza back again. He says, yes, Mooch, exactly. And on a side note, if you want to spot a PC, I believe he says poser, look for the gamer that overspends on a GPU and RAM and brings about a card that many of the features aren't in use, like RT. Okay, I'm not sure. I kind of know where he's going with that. And Slow-Mo, we miss you, buddy. Hopefully you're not working. He says, devs remove features they want to implement all the time. The older the hardware they have to support, the more features or ideas get cut. That's a very valid point, Slow-Mo, as well. Guys, I do want to move on to this next topic here, and I should have blended my first and third ones together, but I'm going to go right into it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and speak. We have many people on this panel, folks. You guys might not know this, but we have a lot of people on this panel that are going to make their way to E3 2020, okay?
So, I got to say something. That was a hot topic, man.
It was. And, it's funny. It could have went another hour because I got more on it. But listen, I know that the audience wants to hear some more. So PlayStation's rumored to not be at E3 2020. Okay, I myself personally, right, I just want to say that I do not believe that at all in the slightest.
It was on the internet, Mooch. I believe it.
Well, you should, right? Naturally. That's what we're here to disprove, the internet. We've got Wilmy, Salty, and Enrique, and unless there's somebody else I'm not aware of, okay, are going to E3 2020. These guys, these fine fellows are going to be out there. Wilmy, let me start with you, Wilmy. First of all,
you leave me out.
Are you going, Forte?
Man, I dropped my deposit today.
Damn, Forte. Well, I didn't see you mention it. So I said there could be more. You never know. You know who's not going? Mooch! Somebody send me a ticket. I'm trying to go as media. Listen. Wilmy.
I think Salty's going.
Salty, are you going as media?
I have to apply for it.
Well, I'll be your camera guy. Listen. Here's the deal, right? Listen, Mooch is just trying to get a free ticket. That's what Mooch is doing.
You can come see Wilmy Hood at the Ritz-Carlton, baby. I've already
there you go, Wilmy. Wilmy, do you think this E3 rumor is right? I mean, is Sony not going to be there? They should be there because you're there.
Your hotel room.
Hey, you guys can catch me outside. How about that?
Nice.
I'm on the 23rd floor in the corner room. I already got it booked, ready to go.
Wilmy's not shy, folks. This just in.
I'll be outside Wilmy's suite.
Wilmy, what do you think? Sony going to be there?
I hope.
I think we all hope.
And we talked about this before we went live, man. I don't believe anything. I don't give a fuck who puts it online. There's so much BS going around.
I know.
I don't believe any of it until it's actually in stone.
I didn't hear the magic words. Did you say who predicted this, by the way?
I didn't tell them yet. I believe it came from Michael Pachter. If I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected. Yeah, so it already isn't working out so well in the rumor mill.
And Xbox too, right?
It's already 50% raw.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just looking for a great show. This will be my first E3. I'm just going to hang out, meet everybody, and I really hope Sony shows up. I'm looking forward to the PS5 just as much as I am the Xbox.
Guys,
Absolutely.
This just in. Michael Pachter just said only the Ouya 2 will be at E3.
God bless Michael Pachter. So I know that this wouldn't impact your decision either way, but I mean, you saw this. You probably thought this was a big pile of shit. But are you going, first of all, for certain, and number two, do you think Sony will be there?
Nothing's for sure certain, because last year I was planning on going to E3 and then I had a baby, you know. So I'm planning on going, right? But when I heard this, yeah, I tried, man. I mean, it didn't work. I mean, she was on She was on birth control both times when she got pregnant. Too much information. Anyway,
you know that's might not be something in your water there, Salty.
Seriously,
just let you know that birth control doesn't matter.
Anyway,
Salty, Jesus, dude, birth control. You have strong swimmers, my friend.
Seriously, they're like breaking through barriers and shit. God damn.
Dude, even Salty started taking the birth control to try to like.
Seriously, I took the birth control. She did. God damn.
Salty started was on MRSA.
So what you're saying is your pullout game's not that great.
It is weak as hell.
Oh man, I think everybody
non-existent. Anyway.
CrossFire just went in a whole nother
let's
direction.
get back to gaming, folks.
Anyway. So when I read the articles, Michael Pachter. So here's the deal. I make fun of this because it's just the way YouTube goes and gaming, quote unquote, journalism. Like there's, I'm not going to mention them, but people are making articles and quoting random Twitter users and calling them out and making an article out of it. That's where we're at right now online. So anybody can make an article and say that they're media or their journalism or their this and that, and they can say, I have a source, and then when it's complete horseshit and it goes sideways, they blame their source and they move on with their lives, right? So I looked into this, and media bias. Michael Pachter, he's wrong a lot of the times, and he says some weird shit, but what he was saying, it is what it is. Take that with a grain of salt. But the thing that I kind of took notice from is the Xbox side of it, how they, the people that are preparing for E3, they're preparing like Sony's not going to be there, right? I don't have the exact quotes, but they're preparing their E3 like Sony's not going to be there. And that's what they're planning for. So that's what is the weird thing, where multiple people are kind of throwing this out there. And then you kind of look at Sony, what they're doing as a brand, as a global brand. And they pulled out of last year's E3, and you might have said because it's content. But then you look at CES, and they reveal a logo, and it gets 5 million hits or likes on Instagram. Like, if anybody could just say, screw it, we're not going to E3 anymore, I say Sony could do that, because they can literally put a tweet out there and it breaks the internet because it's a logo. Like, who else could put a logo out there and generate that kind of buzz? Now, is it good for the fans? No, it's not. Like, people are going to be pissed off if this is the way.
So we're going to base the entire next generation on Instagram, right?
Well, that's just one metric, Wilmy, right?
Picture on Instagram.
Because I was going to say there's probably some little white girl with a Starbucks cup that's got them beat by a mile.
No, but that's just one metric, right? Like, Sony literally, they announced the acquisition of Insomniac via a tweet.
And
it overshadows Gamescom, right? They have a different way of going about their business, and they've shown through the Last of Us 2 reveal, right? Not having tradition. They weren't even at E3. They're generating millions and millions of views on YouTube, on Twitter. Like, it's all these social media outlets, and they've shown that they can generate buzz not being at E3. And it's not just them. Activision wasn't at E3. If you take a poll of everybody that went to E3, they would say that it was on one of the lowest years buzz-wise when it comes to E3. So social media is changing the game. So is E3 as important anymore? I don't know, because you got to pay a lot of money to get into E3, and it's a business decision. It's like, well, are we giving more to E3 view wise and money wise than we're getting back? Is it worth it? That's the thing. So that's what I thought. Like, so could they do it? Yeah, they could. But are the fans going to be happy? Hell no, they're not. You know, so
well, I wasn't happy after watching CES. I was really looking forward to PS5.
Yeah,
and I get a logo. I'm sitting there looking at my TV screen like, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
You also got a car. You got a car.
Oh yeah, we got the car. Don't forget the car.
An initiative.
But they did. But Alienware did show the UFO, which was
dude. I'm kind of interested in that, brother.
It's cool, man.
That is a Switch on steroids.
That is a nice handheld right there, man.
You know, this being
that's what she said.
Oh,
I gotta say this much though. In all honesty,
oh wow,
I gotta say this much though. I think Sony knows that they really. This is not the year to miss, right? It's a hardware release. It's a console year. You just can't miss this show. It's not good for the gamers. They've proven that they don't have to go on off years. But I think whenever you're going to do a huge hardware push, that's anything maybe but VR, because VR is very hard to sell on stage. When it comes to something like this, people want to see the hardware. The media want to put their hands on the controller. They want to try it out, try the ergonomics, see how things feel. Maybe make a test run. Right? Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Right? Enrique's all over this tonight, boy. I'll tell you, he's woo. But I gotta be honest with you, I think this is.
Who are you rooming with at E3? I make sure I stay away from you.
Yeah, exactly, right, Forte?
No, my man, Boobstick.
Forte, you better stay on the other side of town.
I'm staying on the other side of the compound.
Absolutely,
you know Forte. For you saying that now, I'm going to come visit you every night, sir, and tuck you to bed.
He's gonna knock on the door.
Shut up.
Make sure I lock the door.
Shout out real quick.
I will be streaming it, so watch for it.
Oh God, no!
Wilma's going to be there with the camera.
I don't need Wilmy. I don't need you to be. I don't need you to be. I don't. You don't want to be around when this crime happens.
Shout out to Sir X-Man real quick. He says lower consoles will stream to scale with xCloud. We're gonna go back to that in a second here because I think there's still a lot of people that want to talk on this. Guys, I'm gonna kind of go backwards on this because I mean, actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me do this. Xbot, do you or Dreadpool have any say, or do you really think the rumor's true? And Sony may skip out again, and they may just stay with their
brother. When it comes
their streams.
When it comes to Pactor and what he says, I've seen this on Twitter, and I'm gonna shout out. Huge shout out to everybody on Twitter who tweeted this. Anything that Pactor says, automatically think the direct opposite. All right, because that this entire generation. That's the way it has gone for Pactor. I swear he is batting like 0.001 maybe. So I don't think there's any. This is a launch year. I think they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there big. Right. They want that media attention that does come with E3. At least within the gaming industry, I think all the companies want that this year. I plan to see all the big hitters at E3, and that's the way it should be, to be really honest with you, man.
Well, here, shout out to Rumple Foreskin here. He says, sorry to bring the mood down here, but he said, I was fired the day before Christmas, and I have 6 kids to provide for. Thanks, panel, for bringing much need joy to my life. Rumple, honestly, you've been with us for so long, buddy. I can't help but say thank you so much for being here. Yes. Thanks for being an active member in the community. And listen, someone told me many years ago, better days are coming. If that's the way life kind of threw the cards at you there, you've got a better job in your future for you and your family. So we're all going to be thinking and praying for you as we move forward into 2020, buddy. Sorry to hear about that. Dreadpool, what's your take on this? Since me and you are the only two, me, you, and Xbot are going to have to be the only folks watching it on a stream. Right? So
I'm sorry, Mooch.
What I was gonna say.
It's okay. Dread, what do you think? You think that Sony's gonna be there?
Like, I'm going too. Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, I want to go. I'm just waiting for somebody to pay full round trip, full everything for me. I'll carry a camera if you want. I don't care.
Will me?
Well, that may happen. Me and the Four King crew are actually going to we're going to give away an entire pass to someone to come with us to E3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my wife was like, "Hey, by the way,"
but don't tell anybody. I already told it here because we were going to announce it on our show Wednesday, but we are going to do that.
I know nothing.
Well, 480 you never heard that.
Everybody keep it quiet, okay?
Yeah, keep it quiet.
Please keep
my
it
wife
down.
already gave me permission to go, and I was like, "Yeah, but we just can't afford it right now." And she's like, "Yeah, but you could go if you want." I was like,
"That's the kind of boat I'm in, Dread."
I wish it was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, lock it down, let's go." So, but anyway, back to the real story.
Yeah.
Them not showing up with them releasing a console this year does not make any sense whatsoever. Everybody's already, pretty much said the same thing. You can't really listen to that guy. I've learned to say who.
It kind of sucks though, Dread, because I got to be honest with you. If you guys remember earlier this generation, maybe even the tail end of last, I actually didn't mind what was he used to call it, the Pack Report or the Pack Attack. Yeah. I didn't mind listening to him, but all of a sudden he's just gotten so off the deep end where you're like, I can't even take you seriously anymore. And listen, let's be honest. I'm going to give Michael Pachter some credit. He's an educated man. He does very well for himself. Whatever field he goes into and clocks in 9 to 5, he does very well at. But his game predictions have gone off the deep end. He jumped the shark about, I don't know, maybe about 6 years ago.
There's one thing with wishful thinking. This,
right.
This is my wishful thinking of, this topic. We all have our opinions and thoughts behind what we say.
Right.
But this is from what we've collected through listening to everybody, through reading articles, just paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But coming up with some idealistic stuff that makes no sense. Nah. That's why I don't listen to that guy.
Well, here now I want to change subjects here quickly, and I want to go to Xbot. Xbot, I see you're muted. I don't know if you're still here or not, but if you're not, I'll switch courses here. The next question I kind of want to ask is this. This is something I think is very important as we go into the next console generation, and we're going to kind of piggyback off of the first topic again. I should have went back to back with these two. is that, should actually, do you think Xbox's late delay of first party, and what I mean by first party is, of course, we're going to get games from the first party studio, but not experiencing that true Series X power for maybe 12 to 24 months, as Matt Booty said. This isn't Mooch saying this. This is Xbox saying this. Do you think that these kind of words coming out now, and I'll start with Salt. Salt, do you think that these words coming out now are possibly going to give Sony an even further gain? That first, I think it was Peter. If it wasn't Peter Moore, guys, please correct me, but I thought it was Peter Moore that said the first to 10 million wins the generation. And I understand we're past console sales. We're past it. But let's also talk about just kind of, what is the word I'm looking here for? There's global dominance in one aspect, and then there's mind share. Do you think at this point that Sony will just jump out to an astronomical lead and Microsoft will find themselves in a hole they can't recoup from if they don't have that power showing first party right away?
They don't need that. They already have the mind share, but I was going to put this on social media, but if anybody wants to bet me $60, we could do this, that Xbox will not win an NPD next generation for the first.
Wow.
We could do it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So,
woo. Don't take that dumb bet.
We could do it. I mean, hit me up in the DMs because I'm that confident. See, the thing is Xbox's messaging and marketing is actually selling the PlayStation 5 better than Sony themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue here. It's the PR, it's the wording, it's the messaging. We don't care if you buy the console or not. See, that's the issue. I could go back to buying a car, right? If the salesman sucks, you ain't going to buy the car. And
it's true.
The salesmen, they suck at this point because they're not really telling me why I need to go out and shell out $500, $600 on this thing day one, especially when you say, hey, a year or 2 years, we might be supporting this or this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me piggyback off you. Salt, you make a good point. And Wilmy, I know you want to.
That's a good point.
Let me piggyback off this because Wilmy made a point earlier. I'm going to use a Mooch analogy here, guys. Okay, a lot of times we have a lot of great Italian and steak restaurants over here in New York. You guys know that. But the one thing they don't say? They don't say, hey, make sure you come out to so-and-so's. We've got the greatest Grey Goose martini. You know why they don't advertise that? Because they know when you're there, you're already going to get that, right? So what do they advertise? The steak. But they make the money off of the Grey Goose. That's where the big money is, right? Off the liquor. Hear me out what I'm trying to say here. What Salty said is 100% right. They can go ahead and make their money on Game Pass and on software. But the fact that they're not promoting and not pushing the hardware, it's like saying, come and have the Grey Goose. The steak's okay. You don't need to eat it. No, it's a steakhouse. It's not a Grey Goose house, okay? It's not a beer house. It's a steakhouse. They are an Xbox brand. But they're not selling it right. They're not selling Xbox. They're trying to sell their services. What you don't realize is when you eat, you have a drink. When you buy the hardware, you buy the software.
I don't know. I think
so. I don't understand. Right? I don't think they're doing a good job selling. I'm kind of with Salty on that.
I think what you saw at the VGAs was the start of a different way moving forward when it comes to marketing. Like I have been out there publicly talking about Microsoft's marketing for I don't know how long. I even tried to throw it out there and beg that let me take over marketing and I will do a better job. But with what I saw with them going out there at the video game awards where nobody expected that, when they showed a teaser of a game in development for the Series X and it was a single player game, I think that right there is showing that their marketing is going in a different direction. So as we move forward, it's going to be interesting to see. But I think they're taking steps in the right direction when it comes to marketing their system and their ecosystem, man.
Yeah, but Mooch, they're a software as a services company. I mean, that's kind of like what I said earlier. Like, they don't care about selling you, physical copies of games per se. They just want to get you in the ecosystem. That's all they care. They want you to subscribe to Game Pass. At the end of the day, ultimately, that's what they want. And it's such a change of pace or a complete shift of direction from how they used to operate, and a complete shift in direction from how Sony operates. But that's what they want. Like they are I heard you say like a Grey Goose martini or whatever. They are the services of Grey Goose martini. That's the end game for them. They don't care about, I don't think, hardware sales anymore. They just want.
But don't you get, Enrique? What I'm trying to say is you got to sell them on the brand, and the brand is both. But the brand is the software and the hardware.
But you got to remember, Xbox, the brand Xbox is no longer tied to hardware.
But hold on, wait. Forte, wait.
It is Netflix.
Let me say one thing one more time. Hold on, and we'll get to Netflix in a second. But Apple, okay? Apple makes more money off of their App Store software. But guess what they talk about every single June through October? iPhone. Get the iPhone, buy their software.
That's because Apple's a hardware company, though.
They
just profit more off software.
Well, they've been both, Forte.
They're both. You know,
they're both. But if you think Apple, it's just like when you think Apple, you think hardware. You don't really think of the App Store.
And the App Store is there. Their hardware.
Their hardware is what you think. You think of iPhone. You think of MacBooks. You think of iMacs. You think of
other overpriced bullshit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Wilmy. Steve Jobs is looking down at you. I just want you to know that, okay? He's looking down at you.
Steve Jobs can suck my ass, dude.
Hey, come on now, Wilmy. Come on,
Wilmy. You're not the pearly gates anymore now.
We wouldn't have our mouse without that. Come on.
There's a reason every time you go past
Windows without Apple.
Thank you.
There's a reason every time you go to an Apple store, the Apple store is always packed. It's not because they buy iTunes. It's not because they're buying iTunes cards. They're in there buying hardware from them. And that's why that store is always packed.
But see, you know what, Forte? Let me tell you something. Then it's the greatest magic act of all time. Because when you're buying an iPod, you're buying their music off their store. Okay, they get a cut. When you're buying their phone, you're buying their apps. They're getting the cut. It's software for Apple too. Trust me. So
that's what I'm saying. Well, the hardware is the gateway to the software. That's the thing. It's just like how consoles used to be for Xbox. You know, the console was the gateway to the software. But Microsoft said we don't sell enough hardware to benefit the software, so we're going to put the software everywhere.
But can you imagine?
Yeah.
If gaming consoles pulled the same shit as cell phone companies, because I have an iPhone right here in front of me. I have the 10 Max, whatever, this big fucking tablet looking thing. I bought it last November.
Well, you ain't want the telescope lens on yours. That's why you didn't upgrade.
Yeah, it's like Dredd said earlier. You know, they keep adding new software, and eventually these phones won't run it. We've had to replace phones several times because they keep updating, and eventually the software just won't keep up.
Yeah, they force you to upgrade.
What if consoles did that?
The force upgrade.
It's also the app.
Well, that's what's going to happen though eventually.
So you just paid for an app. No longer works.
And I don't know about you guys. Everybody's talking about $400, for an Xbox or a PS5. My fucking cell phone was $1,400.
Right?
Say it with me.
Listen, Wilmy, I've been arguing that for years. I kind of gave up on that because when we're talking in the gaming community, console prices just do seem to be a stronghold. And I agree with you. I think whether it's 400, 500, or 600, and you're talking about a duration of 5 to 7 years, you're getting your money's worth, folks.
Damn right.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Shout out to John Mendoza. He says, I also don't believe Microsoft will win any hardware NPD, but I'll bet you Microsoft wins the revenue battle by the end of the generation. Sony will sell more consoles. Microsoft will earn more revenue. That's an interesting point.
Like this last generation, because, let's face it, and everybody on the panel can be honest, and people in the chat can get mad. It doesn't really fucking matter. It has become cool to hate on Microsoft. They have became
it has been
Nickelback. They have became the Nickelback of gaming.
Since the 80s.
Everybody hates Nickelback, and a lot of people never even heard any of their so-called music.
I love Nickelback.
People jam out to Nickelback and don't even realize it while they're hating on it.
What?
Red Bull's right.
But it has become cool, and a lot of people do it. They do it for likes. They do it, to play algorithms. They do whatever's popular. So it has become more common to see people hating on Xbox.
Let me ask you this. Before you go, Enrique, Timothy Jansen makes a good point, and I think a lot of people, this is something we do have to take into consideration. It's a good point. He says people don't understand if Xbox doesn't sell consoles, then you have a low install base, less people to play third-party devs, ignore your platform. So stop acting like sales don't matter. He's saying sales do matter. And, to a certain extent, even on Microsoft's side, forget the console wars. That does make a point. If there's less people playing on the third-party platform on your console, right? They're not playing. If they're playing PC, they're buying it on Steam, right? Let's just be honest, okay? And if you're not playing it, and if you're not playing it on Xbox Series X, and you're playing it on PlayStation, then PlayStation's making the money off the third party. So Microsoft's losing out on both of those, and that may counter some of what John was just saying with Xbox's revenue. How do you measure something like that when it comes out? Because sales do matter to a certain degree.
Mooch, I was going to say, that, it's interesting. Like the one thing that really kind of, when I think about Microsoft, and I think like we talked about messaging.
Yes. Like
the only way Game Pass works is if they get a lot of people subscribed. It's a razor blade model. It's all about volume, right?
Yes.
You sell things on the cheap, but you make it up based on volume. That's how you make up like the numbers, right? But if they're saying that, if they're not really promoting hardware, they're not giving you a reason to buy the Xbox Sex. I'm gonna call it the Sex. I keep getting confused. Then exactly what's the messaging here? Like I guess my point is, if they're not going to push this console per se, the first year or two, that leaves an open window for Sony to go out and push their PlayStation 5 as the true next gen option, right? Yes. We know messaging is important. Well, then, I mean, if they're saying that, if we're saying that like hardware sales don't matter for Microsoft, software sales don't matter, physical software sales don't matter, and it's all about Game Pass, well, it doesn't make sense for them not to promote hardware because they need that hardware to grow that base. Does that make sense? Like they need more people accessing the ecosystem to make Game Pass viable. The more people you have in Game Pass, the more profitable it is.
And listen, Game Pass on console is doing better and is the juggernaut, if you will, over PC Game Pass. So I agree with your point.
But if you're not selling more Xboxes, you're not potentially increasing that base. So what happens then? Like, how do they make that? And again, I'm not the brains behind Microsoft. I'm just thinking out loud, looking at things like Netflix, and everyone compares Game Pass to Netflix. Netflix works well because it's on every device. It's on my phone. It's on my TV. It's on my tablet. It's everywhere.
Right.
Comcast is giving it to me free.
And that is where xCloud will be soon.
Well, that's So I mean, I think at some point, like you said, Wilmy, xCloud is going to be everywhere. The end game is that it's going to be on all devices. So the thing that confuses me is that why come out with this like super duper powerful hardware if you're not going to sell it? What's the point of having it? I guess
who says that they're not going to market it though? I mean, we haven't even.
They will market it, obviously, but I'm saying it's like it's not. But it's not like it's not a. To me, it's not a focal point per se. It's not like it's like, hey, you know what? It's an option for you. It's not a must have. Like with the PlayStation 5, you're going to see Sony come out. They're going to say, you want next gen experiences? We have the console for you, because their first party. There's not going to be any. They're not going to be focused on making first party games for PlayStation 4 per se. They're going to be focused on making games for the PlayStation 5.
They might remaster Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2.
Well, of course they were early on.
They're going to be free updates. They're going to be free updates.
They're going to double dip. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Free
in record time. That would be, if they did that would be in record time that they would come out with a remaster.
They're not going to remaster. They're just going to free updates. Everybody that has the game is going to get a free update. That's all it's going to be.
Well, that's yet to be seen.
You got a lot of faith in them, brother.
But you know what?
That's pretty much how it's been this whole generation. Towards the end, it's like every game that was like, if it was an Xbox game and it was upgraded to not work with the Xbox X, but it gave you better graphics, better textures and stuff. I mean, I think at that point, Microsoft already established that's what's going to be.
Wait. We were talking PlayStation at that
point. I'm just letting you know. Look, PlayStation could get away with it. I just don't think that's going to be the way that it's going to operate. I
think Slow-Mo just broke the idea for the greatest marketing strategy ever. Slow-Mo says, how's this for marketing? They hire Forte to make videos on Twitter, walking in concentric circles while holding an Xbox Series X. I'm sorry, but honest to God, Forte...
and touching a Pokemon doll.
Forte is the best ever. Forte, you got to do that for me. Just get on there, walk in circles, and be like, this was for Mooch. I posted it. All right, listen. Guys, I got to bring this up because we talked about Game Pass. Wilmy's talked about it. Salty's talked about it. Enrique's talked about it. Xbot won't stop talking about it.
Game Pass is great, though. I'll say it's great.
Of course it's great.
They got PC.
God forbid you say it's not great. Listen,
Xbox people,
right? My God, it's great.
That's why I went PC because
I don't even start a Game Pass segment without the word great. Hear me out, right? Guys, this is important. They came out and they said 10 million active users or something along those lines stopped by Sea of Thieves. We got to clarify this.
They didn't say stop by.
I said stop by.
Users. Yeah, but you said they said 10
Okay,
million.
my apologies. 10 million active users are at Sea of Thieves. I'm saying they stopped by. Hear me out. Okay? Like it's kind of a false number, right? It's like
half empty all the time.
Well, the Xbox, and I'll start with Xbox. Listen, your glass is half full.
Hey, it's free on Game Pass, Mooch.
Of course it is. But my point being is, this is a very confusing situation. When people see that real quick, they go, "Wow, Sea of Thieves is doing great. That's probably Xbox's best game all generation." But is it? Is it? Like, when you have Game Pass and you click on it, and you go, "Oh, you know what? This isn't for me," and then you click it off and you uninstall it, you're one of the 10 million. You stop by. Okay, here's my other thing. Listen, how many times have you guys gone to your local mall? Look at how many people are carrying bags. Not a lot of people. They're window shopping. You can go to Game Pass, try a game, which is like walking into a store, walk out, not even really play it, not buying anything. It counts as it counts. You're just walking in the mall. It's like window shopping. It's different than playing the game and being a true active member. Like when I hear, listen, Xbot, when you used to say there's 10 million people playing Halo, that meant 10 million people play Halo a night, right? That's not happening here. This is kind of like a synthesized number of people who stopped by, checked it out, and then left.
Mooch, at the very least, when it comes to Sea of Thieves, and I know some people out there don't want to admit this, but at the very least, they got a pretty nice cult following of gamers that play that game.
Not 10 million
daily.
people, though.
Not 10 million.
No, I didn't say 10 million. Some of them are people that stop by, the way Mooch said, but some of them are people who are like, all right, this was cool, and they start playing it.
By the way, the game's beautiful and it's come a long way. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It's got new waves.
It's gorgeous.
I really think with how that game has grown, I really think that the game is a success, because when it does come down to it, and say like down the road they make a sequel, they know that there is at least a hardcore cult base that is going to pick it up and play it day one. And when it comes down to it, and that there's always growth to get more people involved in it. So yeah, 10 million, some of them people that stop by, some people, some of them were people that played it for a little while and then picked up something else.
I put a good amount of hours into it early on. I thought the game was beautiful, and it's definitely fun with friends, but it's not, Forte, was that you want to chime in?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what 10 million means. 10 million means this. It's basically Microsoft coming out and basically saying, "Hey, 10 million people played this game. If you're interested in Game Pass, this is one of those games for you." It's a way of getting people into an ecosystem that don't know any damn better.
Right.
Most of us that
don't know any better. Some people might really like that game.
But that's the thing though. If they can get those people that don't know anything about it, they might say, "Hey, Sea of Thieves, is that available on PlayStation?" No. Did you find out it's on Game Pass and you can get it for a cheap price and you just download it, and Microsoft can put on a box saying 10 million people played this game. And then instantly in your mind, you think, "Oh, that's a pretty popular game," not knowing that if you're somebody like us that are on podcast, knowing that this is course of a year. But it's all about getting that casual base to buy into Game Pass.
Real quick. Just real quick, Enrique. When it comes down to it, I really have a hard time hearing people trying to guess if the game is a success or not. Whenever I go in and play it, there's always people in the game, which you can't games that have absolutely failed after release, games like Anthem and stuff like that, their online is
but that's a game that you got to pay $20 for now, but it's still a game you got to pay for.
But and put that together with, like I said, there is a community of cult type followers to Sea of Thieves that are always on that as well. You put all that together, I think it's a win for Xbox.
Well, ain't nobody.
Man.
I don't think anybody will tell you that the game isn't successful, because every time I see a new update come out and I see Twitter and everybody going crazy about new updates and new stuff going on in the game. So you're right, there is a following for it, but let's be for real. When Microsoft says 10 million, they ain't saying that the game is that popular. They're basically saying, hey, this game had 10 million people play it. It's on our service. Get in for however much it's going to be. Only available on Xbox, PC, and whatever other places they have it. And that's just bolstering. That's just bolstering a number that they care about, and that goes back. But that goes back to the whole thing everybody's talking about. The system doesn't matter. It's the service that they care about. They're going to end up bundling when that new system, when the Xbox Series X comes out, it's not the X that's going to sell it. It's going to be Game Pass and how many months they're going to give you and how they're going to market it. All those different games that's going to be in there by saying 10 million people play this game. Over 15, 20 million people play Gears of War. Want to play the most anticipated game, Halo Infinite, day one in Game Pass when you buy your Xbox One X.
That's the same way as saying, well, Spider-Man sold 15 million copies.
No, it's not, because
Spider-Man. No, it's not. That's different. That's different.
You actually got to pay for.
Can I finish it, though? Can I finish it though? Because what they never take into account are people bought the game, played it, and brought it back, or how many people bought the game.
What?
Still,
well, you can't buy it. Well, wait, hold on. Let's correct something in retail here. You can't buy a brand new game and take it back to the store. They don't. No retailer will take it. That it is a thing called you cannot bring new games and bring them back. Pre-owned games, you could do that. No, new games, once you walk out the door with it, that game is yours, brother.
Well, no, then you
taking it back.
You could trade it back for a certain amount of money,
but you still bought the game.
But see, that's what. But see, nobody like when they account for 15 million games sold. They don't account for like how many people are actually playing that game. I know a bunch of gamers who buy games day one, but they're attacking their backlog and they're moving down the road. And there's people that.
But we can't use that. You say, let me use your. Let me use your analogy in a different way.
There's those type of things all over the place, man.
Look, let's use your analogy in a different way then. So people buy the game, they take it back and do the other stuff, and that just counts as extra sales of people picking it up. Xbox 360 sold 86 million consoles. When we talk about 86 million, we don't talk about how a good portion of that 86 million, probably 20% of it, was rebuys because Microsoft had to replace half the systems out there because of a red ring of death. So trust me, a bunch of people went out and rebought.
We don't talk about it though.
But we don't hold that. We don't hold that against Microsoft. We still say, "Hey, Microsoft sold 83 million versions of this." That's all that matters.
People don't put that asterisk up there where it's like, well, so
I don't hear people doing it.
Well, we should,
but they don't. Right. So that's why I keep telling you that does not matter. All they care about is the raw number is all that matters.
There you go. The raw number right there is
10 million people. 10 million people played Sea of Thieves. That's all that matters. They can put that on the box and they can say, "Hey, 10 million people played this game. Buy the Series X and you'll be able to play it just like them. Buy Halo Infinite, the most anticipated game this generation, in the box day one." They can talk about this stuff, and that's what's going to propel the system, not the system. The service is going to do it, and that's the thing that people keep missing.
Bro, I just want to address somebody in the comments real quick. He says he don't believe that I ever owned a PS4. I actually live streamed on my YouTube channel.
He did. No, he did. He definitely did.
You can still go back and check it out, man. So,
I want to chime in real quick. It's a great conversation, by the way. I think with Sea of Thieves, there's a different metrics here involved than comparing games sold. I mean, this is a games as a service game that's free on Game Pass right now. So I understand Microsoft, saying, "Hey, we have 10 million, active users." I would imagine that as a games as a service type game, and a service like a Netflix type service, that's kind of those are the kind of metrics you probably want to talk about with this kind of game in a Netflix type service. I don't see the correlation between Spider-Man being sold, and I think there's a different metrics. So
well, no, because when Mooch came in, he was like, he brought up the people who went in, tried it, and never played it again.
Right.
So I said, but that's well, Enrique, hold on, just real quick. I said that basically what I'm saying is there are variables in any of the numbers that people are trying to use to determine success or failure when it comes to this stuff, man.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this to you, Tomb Raider sell 8 million copies on Xbox. Xbox 360? They said it was a failure. So I mean,
well, I'll say this to Mooch. I think that this is for them kind of the accurate or the most the metric that makes sense for them because it is free. It's in that Netflix type service. I think Netflix would probably say, hey, we had 13 million viewers for I can't even think of a show off the top of my head. Netflix.
What did Disney Plus 3, say?
Right? Yeah, but did Netflix have
120 million people downloaded Disney Plus on day one?
But right, and but Disney Plus didn't have a 99-cent deal.
No, it had a $6.99.
Yeah, that's a big difference, right?
That is a big difference. You're right.
Absolutely.
I got my deal at like $3.
Oh yeah, you got yours. You got the.
I got the D23 deal.
Yep, the D23 deal
before they even launched any of that stuff.
Yeah, I missed that one. God damn it!
I got it for 3 years. Forgot the.
Is that the one that came with ESPN and everything, or is it just Disney Plus?
It comes with, just Disney Plus. It doesn't have everything. So you're missing Hulu and ESPN.
The thing about it, though, Dredd, here's my point, though. Okay, is that they just randomly out of nowhere keep being like, Sea of Thieves, 5 million, 8 million, 10 million.
Right.
But sure as shit, like, there's not that many people playing the game. And don't get me wrong, I think Enrique's right. That's their marketing ploy. They're using that. And Forte said it too. That's their marketing ploy. But it's kind of misleading. That's what I mean by this. That's why I bring this up. It's kind of like, the other thing is this. We haven't seen Game Pass live in its own price point yet. Right? Every single time the 3 months comes up, they do another 99 cents for 3 months.
Who in marketing is not misleading?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, that is the part.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
wait, what did he say? I didn't. You cut out, Dredd. I didn't hear that part about what you said.
I said, who in marketing is not misleading?
Exactly.
If you're a salesman, your job is to sell it. It doesn't matter if the customer doesn't want all these other features. You're looking at what they're looking for, right? A used car salesman goes, "Hey, what's up? What are you looking for?"
That's true, but isn't it Dredd? Isn't it on us then, the consumer, to call bullshit?
But it's the same car that someone says, "Hey, I want a speedy car," and the next customer goes, "I want a safe car." It's the same car that he's selling. Two different people.
Same car, yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Right. So are you saying that Xbox PR is used car salesmen?
I'm saying
I think that's what he's saying.
All of them.
Loaded question, Salty.
No, here's the deal. Here's the deal. The thing that you can't be a used car salesman is on cold hard analytics and facts. And that's what Sony dropped, right? At their last conference. They put it up on social media how many PlayStation 4s they've sold, how many active users they have. Those aren't made up stats, right? They're not bullshit. They're not a used car salesman. And that's the difference.
No, and you're speaking facts.
Mic drop.
But I also have a higher up come to us in our office and lay out the Excel spreadsheet and show us where we're failing and this and this and that. Mm-hmm. And I look at them and I'm like, yeah, but you manipulated it with the facts. You twisted this part here to fit your need.
Okay.
So, I mean, even with facts and analytics, you can twist certain things. I mean, you can't twist the truth, but you also can misdirect people from looking at this. You're looking over here. That's what the Sea of Thieves is. They're saying, hey, look, this is how many people have come on, but they're not telling you how many people have jumped on and bought it.
So let me Dredd.
Twice.
Here's the thing.
Again, people go to Netflix. What am I saying?
Shout out
Redbox.
Centurion, man.
I gotta say, and I gotta give credit where credit's due. Again, Crap. We were having this discussion in the DMs earlier today, and Crap says, basically, he goes, fine if you want to roll with the 10 million on Sea of Thieves. Does that show just how bad Gears 5 did then? Because we're not hearing about their numbers. Right. So it's like, you know what I mean, Xbot. But I mean, my point being is that
but they don't care, Mooch. That's the point. They don't care about those numbers. They don't care about the traditional sales per se.
It's not, but that's the thing. But they say they don't care about it, but they're like Dredd just said, they're portraying those active users as usage or gamers currently there, or AKA sales. They're like Dredd said, they're using a metric and they're manipulating it, and that's fine.
Yes.
That's what it's there for. I get it, but that's why if you look what I just said, 10 million active users passed by Sea of Thieves. Let's clarify this number. That's why I put that. Let's clarify it, because now we're going to take the metric and actually say, are there actually 10 million people playing right now? Are there even 9 million? Are there 8 million? Probably not. You know,
I got a question. Why do we care? It's Sea of Thieves.
Well, Wilmy makes the greatest point of all night, right?
I mean, Wilmy, have you played this? Have you played this train wreck called Sea of Thieves?
Wilmy, it's not a train wreck, man. Wilmy, it's got beautiful oceans and you know.
I live with the ocean, brother. I'm good. I've seen the real ocean.
If I only did quotes of the night, that would be the one, Wilmy. That was very good. Shout out to Gotham Guy real quick. He says, in regards to Spider-Man, I believe he says Xbox does not have a point because the digital sales from the Black Friday bundles contributed to the 15 million in sales. Or maybe he was saying you do have a point, Xbox. I'm not sure.
I was going to say, I think
he said you did have a point. And shout out to Valentin, who says, "What's up, my guys? Just saying hi, enjoying the discussion." Valentin, we appreciate that, and thank you for being here. Z Black Rider up in Canada, appreciate it. He says half of Uncharted sales were included with the console. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely go there, but let's be honest though, Z Black Rider. First of all, people bought it. You know, so I mean, they bought it, right? Who's yelling? Get this guy off the show.
Uncharted had 5 million active users.
But how many people rented it on
Don't worry,
Redbox?
that's people that just stopped by.
True, Dredd.
They said hello.
You know, when it first came out, there was a lot of people who were like, I ain't getting Game Pass. I'll just rent it at Redbox. Well, guess what? They're counted as one of those users.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Go ahead,
Bottom
Salt.
line is, I played Sea of Thieves a lot in 2019, probably more than anybody on this panel.
I played it a good amount. Not as much as you, Salt, but
you played it more than 20 minutes. You played it more than me.
So the thing is it bottom line, no matter if it's 10 million players that stop by or whatever, it's one of the bigger numbers that Xbox has had this generation. And no matter how they want to sell it to you, I think it's the most successful new IP for Xbox this gen. So that's the bottom line, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, it is more entertaining than Death Stranding.
shout out to Ken. Come on, Wilmy. Shout out to
I'm getting really tired of hearing about Sea of Thieves, man. We got 18 more. We got to talk about something else.
shout out to Z Black Rider.
We're gonna go back to the whole masturbation debate.
Z Black Rider says
I'm gonna go back to the Ritz Carlton with Wilmy.
Right.
That didn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right at all. Z Black Rider says Sea of Thieves hate is. Z Black Rider says Sea of Thieves hate is real. That is true. And shout out to Sir X-Man. He says, I see more people playing Halo Master Chief Collection. And you know what? Let's keep this in mind. Shout out to Kid Smooth. He says Sea of Thieves was also bundled with Xbox One SAD. So that is also true. That is true.
That confused me.
You know what's funny? I bet there's more people playing Master Chief Collection on Steam than there are playing it free on Xbox right now.
You think so?
That may be true.
What do you mean free on Xbox?
It could be
because
true.
It's free. If you got Game Pass, you can play it for free. Well, okay. If you got Game Pass, you can play it for free.
Technically, Forte, it's not free. You got to pay. You got to pay to play.
Anytime people are like, "Yo, it's free with Game Pass," and I'm like, "Hold on, you pay for Game Pass." I never understand.
Okay.
People are like,
I bet. Okay, let's clarify it even deeper then, since you want to be technical about it.
Dude,
I bet there are more people. Listen.
No, it'd be like saying I get to watch The Mandalorian for free once I pay for Disney Plus. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
Yes,
so
exactly.
okay, let's clarify even more. I bet there's more people
clarification
for $1 not playing it than the people that paid full price on Steam.
You're on the dollar thing.
Oh, come on.
$1. There's more people.
Goalpost, son.
Oh,
come on, guys! Really, another Game Pass debate?
Let you know. I just think it just comes down to that game has always been more popular. People been waiting for that game on PC more than anything, and that's why.
Hey, Wilmy, can you pass me an espresso?
Yeah, dude. Let me send that bitch to Discord.
Well, here's another topic for you guys real quick. This is an interesting one, too. So Metacritic did their whole, game of the decade, game of the generation, game of the... Right, Meta who? So shout out to Xbox for that one. But The Last of Us won Game of the Decade, which, by the way, guys, I will say, you guys know I'm a huge Last of Us fan. That to me comes as no surprise. But what kind of bothered me was that
Mass Effect.
I think Mass Effect was on there. It was on the top 10. I thought it was.
Mass Effect came out in what year?
Well, it was part of the decade.
2011? It was Mass Effect 3.
Well,
if Mass Effect 3 was 2011, it definitely shouldn't have won Game of the Decade.
But
it was part of the decade, though.
Hold on, I have the list. My apologies.
Because if Mass Effect 2 was in this decade, I would agree with you.
Mass Effect 3 was God.
No, I love Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 2 was what made the series.
Mass Effect 2 is what made the series.
Yeah, it did.
But wasn't
Mass
it alarming
Effect's boring?
Yeah, I'll say so. I have to kind of say both things. The second one was the best one, but I'm actually with Salty. If I wanted a reading assignment and a homework assignment, I'd play Mass Effect.
Exactly.
Come on,
I can't. I just can't.
Reading I wanted to read. I pick up a book, man.
Right? Let's be honest, Salty.
I don't play the Outer Worlds, man.
I passed on the Outer Worlds.
You didn't have to. You kind of had to read it Uncharted a little bit, not Uncharted, but.
People said Outer Worlds was like Fallout. I thought Outer Worlds was exactly like Mass Effect.
Look, man,
it was so much reading and nonsense with all the NPCs.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? We like to stay on this inhabited planet.
Don't sound like robots.
Don't you want to? This is how I'm reading. This is how I'm hearing it in my head as I'm reading it. It was awful. I know it's a me problem. It's a me problem. I know. I understand that. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
I spam the A button, whatever skips the dialogue.
That's what I did too.
And then you're left with the decision, and you're like,
just pick one. It'll still end the same, basically.
Hello, Clarice.
Antonio Alicia says mass boring. Okay, Antonio's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Not mass boring. That's a blasphemy.
It's not. It's great. He's right. Guys, what about the fact that Xbox had no games in the top 10 for the generation? That
Are
was
you surprised?
Weird.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Super Lucky Tail didn't get on that list?
It just missed, Wilmy.
Oh, fuck.
Just missed.
Surprisingly. I'm not really sure how, but it did. It just missed. I mean, that was something that kind of got me. I'm thinking to myself,
That's what my wife said. It just missed.
Well, jeez. Enrique's on fire.
I'm sorry.
Somebody get Enrique Madison Square Garden book now.
It's espressos that Wilmy's giving me. They're.
It's a new feature in Discord. It's only on Mooch's Discord though.
Listen,
pass mine over.
I'll tell you. I mean, do you guys think that this is part of the
game of the decade, right? Not just this generation.
I think it was. I think it was decade.
It was game of the decade. Yeah,
it was decade. Yes. And I mean, I thought that was a bit alarming that Xbox didn't have any on Metacritic's top 10. I thought that was odd. I thought that they could have at least no Gears 5. I mean, what? Right? Nothing there.
Have you beat Gears 5?
No, I'm waiting for you at Forte. Where the hell are you? I'm on Act 5. Yeah. So I think that the point is that this goes back to our first subject again, guys, where it says, okay, listen, first party studios is going to give you a Halo Infinite. You're going to get a little this, a little that, maybe a AA game here or there, but keep waiting. Do you think this is part of that narrative that keeps coming up over and over again? And now you're even seeing some of the hardcore kind of bring it up. Go ahead, Xbot.
Well, no. It's the thing about this whole keep waiting thing. Well, first off, we know, at least some of the games that are coming out this year. Big one being Halo Infinite. Now, within the keep waiting type stuff, I believe within all that, you're gonna get unveilings, you're gonna get teasers, you're gonna get trailers of games that are coming out not only this year but into the future. So that whole keep waiting thing, like at first when they weren't sharing any information, I can see people getting agitated and stuff like that. But as they're showing teasers, as they're coming out with trailers, as they're coming out with dates and stuff like that, I think that it's going to bring excitement. If people are into the games that they are going to be showing, launch lineups, moving forward, all that good stuff, I think then the waiting it's more waiting with anticipation now, because there's going to be something there to refer back to be like, damn, I want to play that game, or damn, I wonder what that's going to be like. So that traditional, we're still waiting with nothing to be shown, that's coming to an end this year. And I think that's a good thing.
Oh, I completely agree with your sentiment there, 100%. I mean, Halo's going to put an end to that first and foremost.
We're still waiting for Battletoads, though.
Battletoads!
Salt, you totally set that volleyball up. Listen, all right. So
yes, you did.
Thank you, Salt.
Perfect.
Dreadpool, what about you? I mean, what was your take? Did you see that Metacritic put out that top 10? Of course, Last of Us winning Game of the Decade. Did that surprise you, or were you more surprised that Xbox didn't make the list?
Well, it surprised me Xbox didn't make the list, but it really didn't surprise me much. You know, it's everybody's opinion. You know what I mean? So everybody's going to go there. And if you're talking about Metacritic, people bomb it one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
So, yet again, I don't look at Metacritic for anything. I look at reviews for people that I actually have trusted and use it as a tool for me to make my decision. I don't use it as, the end all be all. You know what? Metacritic says this, or this reviewer says that. You know what? That's their opinion.
Right.
This is it's supposed to be a collective to give you a roundabout idea. But when people review bomb one way or the other, it's skewed. It's no longer a resource that you can use.
Yeah.
You know,
so you throw it out the window.
Go ahead, Wilmy.
But that goes back to what he's basically
user bombs.
Yeah, it goes back to what I said earlier, man. It's became, the most popular thing to hate on Microsoft. So a lot of people do it, and they do review bomb. But then people also do it to PlayStation games. When Death Stranding came out,
absolutely.
When Death Stranding came out, I mean, I played it about 20 hours. I still didn't find it entertaining. I gave up. But still people were review bombing the hell out of Death Stranding the first day it released. And it happens with every game because for some reason we have people in the community that just think that this giant, console war is going to keep going. And you have people that, make money off YouTube. So of course they're going to come on YouTube and they're going to make bullshit to get you to come in.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I have became the king of clickbait.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody come to my podcast and actually think we're going to talk about Nostradamus discovering the Xbox?
Dude,
love your tweets, Wilmy. Love your tweets, Wilmy.
Absolutely amazing, by the way.
But
love it.
Wilmy, I believe that.
Well, it was on the internet. There are people in the community that this is their living is to do what we're doing here for fun.
Yeah,
they will put out any type of bullshit they can one way or the other to draw people in so they get the super chats, they get the ad money. And that's why I told you guys before, I don't take anything seriously.
Well, how many people have created something and let's say we're gonna do a show in 30 minutes and show has not even started and it already has like 2, 3, 4. The more popular you are, the higher the number is for downvotes. And it's like, how can you downvote something that you haven't even listened to? If you
my podcast,
this show,
it's my podcast too.
It's funny, and I'm not picking on Salty because me and Salty go way back. The very moment Salty started talking earlier at the beginning of this show, the dislike button got up to 45 dislikes.
Yeah, damn.
That was all my sock accounts. Dude.
People doesn't like salt. People don't like Salty.
Yeah.
They're just salty.
I like salty.
I like salty.
I'm a salt fan.
I'm just saying. I mean, you've got people that do it, and man, that's what
I know. Enrique likes salt on his crackers.
That's what
my right hand.
You apparently have been using that right hand. We went back to that.
Well, let me answer Sir X-Man here. Sir X-Man goes, I thought God of War was game of the generation. Here's the thing, Sir X-Man. God of War was the game of the generation. We're talking about game of the decade. Different, because you still have PS3 in decade. So The Last of Us won that one.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that.
Well, just saying it's a catch-22. Carlos Crispin, good to see him here finally. He says the best Xbox exclusives were Waiting and Damage Control. Oh, Carlos! It's awesome.
Well, they stopped making
great to have Carlos back.
Game of the decade, Avatar Paintball. On the
wow, you know what's unfortunate though. I mean, to speak like I think Wilmy talked about clickbait, but that's unfortunately the byproduct of the 24/7 news cycle on the internet.
That's it.
It sucks. I mean, it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. Like I see somebody brought this up earlier. Like we see like news sites quoting Twitter accounts now, and it's like really like that's your source. Like
and I've seen it. It's crazy.
Oh, trust me, I know about a Twitter account being used as a news source.
What happened earlier this week with Mike Ybarra? I know everyone saw that.
Yes, I saw that.
They took his tweet and just completely spun it around.
They clickbaited it.
Yeah,
and then Mike Ibarra himself went back at them, and said, "Look, this is." I mean, he basically said, "This is bullshit. This isn't what was said."
I am in some DMs on Twitter where they are swearing by that article right now. Like,
that's the point. People will do anything to keep this stupid ass console war going.
Well, I want to say,
I personally, I don't get a check from Xbox. I don't get a check from Sony.
No.
The very moment one of those motherfuckers starts sending money to my bank account, I will be all over my YouTube channel. I will be in a fucking little. I will be carrying pom-poms around.
We'll be like, who's this Wilmy guy all of a sudden, right?
Yeah, you will see. You'll see me running around E3 with nothing on but a pair of boxers with that company's name on.
Will you do a full frontal nudity with the Xbox over you?
Damn right. I'll even shave my pubes to into a big fucking.
Let me say,
sending me money.
I'm glad Wilmy brought it up. I was just talking to him in the DMs. Shout out to Mikey. Was Mikey Barr in the chat? I was just talking to him in the DMs. So shout out to Mike if he's still listening, because he said he was doing some work while he was listening to the show. I appreciate you being here and stopping by.
Make sure Diablo becomes great again, Mike. That's all.
Yeah, he will.
Make Diablo 4 great, and I'll love you.
Tell Mike I want to play some Warcraft with him too. By the way. If he's still there, I want to play some
he's
Warcraft.
listening. He's listening. Oh,
yes, man.
Yes. So it's great to have Mike back.
PC Master Race.
Damn right.
Well,
you're like you're a fraud.
I played Overwatch with Mike.
No, you're a fraud, sir. I heard that.
All right.
So Enrique, you're a think outside the box as well as Xbot is, but
that's what she said.
Oh, there we go. Enrique, real quick, I got to ask you.
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Jim Ryan comes out and says many of the PS5 features have yet to be announced. Right? We heard about the SSD and the fast load times.
The biggest feature as well, right?
Yeah, well, they're most unique. I believe the in air quotes was the most unique features have yet to be revealed. So
yes,
if that's the case, guys, and while I'm asking Enrique, please do brainstorm, because I'm really intrigued in what you guys game.
I know what he's talking about.
What is he talking about?
Back paddles on the controller.
Oh God!
Oh wow!
That would be great. Yo, straight out the box.
I don't think that's what he meant, but
no. You know what he's talking about?
I don't.
Uncompromised exclusives.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you had to go there, didn't you? You had to go there.
Yes, I got to throw gas through the fire.
Go drunk your home.
You had to go there, didn't you?
No, I'm not doing that. You know what? I'm not doing that. You know what, Xbot, I'm coming to your house tonight.
I'm on the second floor. You're not gonna be able to see in here. So.
You know what? We're gonna hang on the beach today and have a good time.
Which one of you guys are outside my gate? Because I'm getting a notification from my cameras.
That would be me.
That's Enrique.
I thought you said I could go to E3 with you.
Yeah, we're not at E3 right now.
Dread Bulls like I just pulled up. Why?
I'm in Curie Beach, North Carolina.
Vance City.
I'm actually just joking, but I don't know what he's talking about. Seriously, like I mean,
but what could it be? I mean, Enrique, what is it gamers have been asking for? I'm thinking it's backwards compatibility.
Better battery life in the PS4 controller.
Actually, you know what's funny? You said that 4 times.
That's what I think it is.
No, but I think it's
super irrelevant, but it's gonna be so great.
I think it's going to be backwards compatibility, but I don't know what else it could be, because they talked about the SSD at CES. I'll tell you what, if it's not any of the things that we don't already know, he just put his foot in his mouth.
Dude, did he really? All he did was basically just get everybody like wondering and keeping PlayStation at the tip of their tongue by saying, what else are they going to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, Forte, but
that's all that matters.
Like, if you don't deliver the goods, it's kind of like, yeah, really kind of stuck your foot in your mouth a little bit.
What happened to
you talk about the same person that said, protect the kids, and now he's the president.
That's my point. That's my point.
But does it really? But do we really hold it against them now? No,
I do.
Yeah, we do.
No, most people don't.
Do you?
I do. Forte.
Most people don't, though.
But I'm not most people.
Person, sir.
Who plays old games?
Exactly. Who plays old games? But
and they're focusing on backwards compatibility now, right? He's like, "Oh, we don't want to do that because who plays old games?"
But guess what?
Jokes on you, Jim Ryan.
It will be a meme for like 2 weeks, and that's all that matters. The fact that they do it, that's all that matters.
You know what it's going to be? They're gonna have a brand new logo, PS5 Pro.
That's it.
Let me say this much.
And it's going to hit 10 million views.
I'm going to throw an idea out.
It's going to be 12 teraflops.
I'm going to throw an idea out. But I'm going to first say shout out to Masshole 1977 who became our new Mooch Maniac. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then we've got Sir X-Man who says, I hate to say this, but I think that Destiny should have been the game of the decade only because it changed the way people play that or PUBG.
No.
Yes.
No.
Facts. I said it. I said it. I said that on the show. I said that on the show. I said that on the show. I said it. I said that on our show. Don't get mad. Enrique, don't get mad. I said
Forte, that should not be in the
bro. Listen. I said
No.
God of War. I said if you think about it, God of War as a standalone single player experience is game of the generation and game of the decade.
I can't.
I said multiplayer wise, nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing has been more influential than Destiny has been this whole freaking entire generation. And guess what? Microsoft had that in their back pocket and let it walk away. And you know what? And it serves everybody right because now they're off by themselves and they have a player base of over 1 million to 2 million people daily. And that game is getting better and better every freaking day, and other games can't even hope to be as good as it is in that same genre. So unfortunately, if Halo Infinite ends up not being your bag of tea, you always have Destiny to go back to.
No, fourth time I'm going to say Warframe. I'll leave it at that.
Ooh, Warframe. Wait, hold on. Warframe, first of all, came out in 2009, sir. So it can't be part of this generation.
2013.
No, that's when they changed over all of their systems to like update 11. Trust me, I played Warframe. I was in update 11 in 2013. Update 11 is not update 1, sir, which was 2009.
No surprise at all to you, Forte, but Slow-Mo says to cut your mic, and you're wrong.
Just like he was on a soapbox saying Division was the best game ever in a looter shooter until they completely fell off the earth.
That's so great.
Slow-Mo, you're more than welcome to come. Well, you know the show's over, but you're more than welcome.
We're going to have to get Slow-Mo on next week.
Forte, he's actually part of a Destiny clan now, by the way, I might add.
Yeah, I know. He plays Destiny every day now.
Well, can you blame PC? Can you blame the man, honestly?
On PC. Welcome to the Master Race, sir.
Oh, wow. So many people jumping over. Wilmy's the king and the president and the CEO of PC Gaming.
Funny, Wilmy's the king, but he's also like, I play on everything. Man,
he does. But I always think, you know what's great about having Wilmy as a friend on Steam? He's always on, and I love it.
I love it. Wilmy stroking about the size of his CPU or G. I'm just saying.
He's modest about his size and his girth.
We don't need to Witcher 3 should get honorable mention because before God of War, it probably was Witcher 3.
I learned a lot tonight, guys.
By the way, the release according to Wikipedia, Warframe was 2013.
Okay, sure. That was the year that it came. Wait a minute.
Oh,
hold on. When did Xbox 4? When did Xbox One and PS4 come out?
Hold on. I guess you're lying, Forte.
Yeah, when did Xbox One and PS4 come out?
2013.
When did was it Warframe released on PS4 as a day one thing?
Pardon me, this just in. We have a special guest before we end the show. Slow-Mo, you have something to say?
Oh, he's here.
Oh, yes. Get him, Slow-Mo.
Please tell me why I'm wrong, savior of backslash.
If I had to tell you what you're wrong about,
tell me
how often you're wrong.
No, tell me.
Go on all night. So I'm just going to go on just what you just said.
Slow-Mo, when did Warframe release?
To say that Destiny's the most influential game this generation is the most crack-headedest stuff I've ever heard. It's a shame that I'm hearing this from you. The only reason why you feel this way, Forte, is because it's literally the only game that you play. So, of course, you think it's the most influential game because you have zero to compare it to.
What?
Nothing to compare it to.
The success of Destiny, I also think, helped contribute to the whole games as a service.
Games as a service, which we are now. Borderlands. This is the thing. Borderlands got the ball. Borderlands got the ball rolling, but Destiny got the ball and dumped it.
Oh my God. Okay, and about Warframe, the beta launched March 25th, 2013.
Woo!
The beta on what system?
On on PC.
This might be the first time in podcasting history.
It did not come out into PlayStation, and then to later that year, and it came out on Xbox in 2014.
Thank you, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, Slow-Mo came on the show, drops facts. He should have just like left the show. Like we were like, Slow-Mo, you still here?
But he's still wrong because he back.
I got a gloat, Mooch. I got a gloat about it. You know, I'm doing a little dance right now.
Well, no, he's still wrong because he backed a dead horse this whole generation.
What are you talking about? I never said the Division was the best looter shooter ever. You
what?
Stuff up.
What?
No, I ain't never said that.
Whoa, you trying to? What's the best looter shooter generation?
2 was the best looter shooter.
And we went down the list.
Quote me?
No, we went down the list, and you told me that Destiny couldn't even hold Division's jock strap, sir.
Seriously, like I don't know what drugs you're on right now. I don't know. Is it meth? Is it meth that you do that has you saying?
Wilmy, is he on it? Is he on meth, Wilmy?
You know what? I am not about to go full.
I'm not
about to go full 69 episodes of Brap to find you talking in hyperbole. So
well, you know what? We're not going to do that because if we go
last
back
time you
did
it, you were looking for 6 hours and gave up.
Look, it doesn't matter because like if we would go back through the archives, we would hear you say that Warframe is better than Destiny. So yeah.
He did say that actually.
I'm not going to say, yes, but I did. Hey, wait. I said, yes, you know what? I did say that at one point, and then Destiny became a better game over the last couple of years.
Forte, don't do it. Come on, man.
This is
sad. Talk about it.
It's like saying you need an intervention.
I don't need an intervention. You play Destiny just like I do every day.
I don't play it like you do. I play other.
No, he doesn't. He plays other games.
If we could get a podcast with just Slow-Mo and just Gaming Forte arguing, I would literally become a member of that channel immediately.
Come to Brap.
Come to Brap.
Yeah,
it's true.
When Forte shows up for Brap, I mean, it's like
he's not playing Destiny. When he's not
it's
playing
like
Destiny.
once a month or something. I mean,
I didn't say that. Now
it's hard to book him.
He got a diaper on, you know, he playing the game. He forgets what time it is. Did I miss Brap? Oh my gosh, it's 5 a.m. I guess I'm gonna go to work now. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, Slow-Mo, remember how you were supposed to join us for a little Destiny online? Remember that? A little Crucible?
But I play Destiny every day.
As soon as I don't know what happened to you. The game said you were playing. The game said you were playing, but you just weren't playing with us. I guess we not as hardcore as you. We gotta be like light level 9,000.
He was like, I don't want to play with those peasants.
I know. I mean, like, this is light level. Like, I'm not trying to carry this.
In case the audience is wondering, this will be continued on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Enrique's channel.
Right? You absolutely right.
Maybe it will be continued if he shows up. Right? I don't know.
Let's go in through our outros. Guys, we have had an outstanding show tonight. We're well over 2 hours. Outstanding chat. So many new Mooch Maniacs. Thank you. I will put you on the list. You will be in the description, and we will be bringing you up next Friday as soon as we start the show. I want to say thanks to everybody here tonight. Let's go in reverse order. Let me start with Slow-Mo Backslap, who's our special guest tonight. Slow-Mo, let people know where they can find you, and hopefully you'll be on next week with us.
Yeah, go ahead and give them all that misinformation. I'll correct all that information you about to get out when he comes to me.
This is a drug-free outro, okay? I need you to
go ahead and give all that misinformation, and I'll correct it in the real outro.
Yo. This is a fire episode of CrossFire. I went from a listener to a participant, and it was awesome. Thank you for allowing me to come in and curb stomp Forte for a little bit. You guys enjoy your weekend. Check me out on my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap, as well as on Twitter. I just love talking about games. So come check me out. And peace.
Appreciate that, Slow-Mo. Thank you. Then I got Dreadpool. Dreadpool, outstanding first show. You were opinionistic. You put your opinion out there. You let people know how you feel. Hopefully you'll join us again on Crossfire and let people know where they can find you.
Thank you for having me. Anytime you want to send out the invite, let me know.
Yes, sir.
I'll take it. You'll find me on Twitter at Dreadpool, and the O's are actually zeros. And everything else is Dreadpool. It's YouTube, Mixer, my gamer tag, even Stadia, which we're friends on.
Stadia!
Does it work?
Oh, it's great! It's great!
It does.
It does work! It's redundant, but it works!
Is it an AK?
It works as good as Salty's wife's birth control.
Oh, wow.
Which means never.
Wow.
It has its own issues, just like xCloud does, but it works just the same. You know,
it definitely works. You know, the thing about it right now, it's a hard sell. They should have put it as a beta. Dreadpool made a great. I try to keep Stadia off the show because it loses people, but I mean, nonetheless,
isn't it xCloud in beta?
Absolutely,
works better.
But
it does work. But well, I think Stadia is working better
as a beta. That's the problem. You can't sell the controller and the Chromecast and say it's a beta.
Well, you can have a paid beta. There's been paid betas before, but
we're drifting left.
Yeah, we're gonna don't get me into that, Dreadpool. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
The S word, man. You don't do that.
It's like putting a pizza on a fish hook. I'll follow you wherever you're going. Listen, I got news for you guys. We'll get into Stadia next week. I want to say thank you to Wilmy Hood also for being here. Wilmy, honestly, you are, I'm going to say, new to the community. Not that new, but I got to be honest with you, it is fantastic having you here. The community's been so much better since you joined. Let people know where they can find you because your content is phenomenal.
You can find me pretty much, well, I mean, he's had it going on the screen. You can find me on Twitter at WilmyHood. You can find me on YouTube at WilmyHood. I have Gaming Beyond the Box podcast every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We discuss some of the crazy shit going on in the community, but we take it with a grain of salt. We just love to, we've been called the party chat in podcast form. So, and actually tomorrow night you can find me on Scumcast with Miss Luca.
Yes,
I will be there tomorrow night.
Oh,
shout out to Luca.
I love Luca.
Luca's great.
She's crazy.
Well, all right.
And you can find me on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Oculus. You can find me any place you can play a game, folks. Just type in Wilmy Hood. My happy ass will be on there.
That's what I'm talking about, Wilmy. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. And then I've got Saltiest Gaming. Salt, it is never not the same without you, brother. You make the show so much better. Thanks for being here, buddy. Let everybody know about your channel, Twitter, everything. I've got your information on the screen as well. Thanks for being here, man. It means a lot.
The main thing I'm pushing right now is my Twitch, twitch.tv/Saltiest Gaming. I'm playing through Death Stranding. Surprisingly, I really like the game. So
good game.
I was wrong about it.
Great.
I'm about 8 hours in. So
Kojima retweeted you, man.
Yes.
Seriously, man.
Talk about that, Salt. That's huge.
Yeah, dude. I came out, played 3.5 hours and just immediately knew what I thought about the game was wrong, So music's phenomenal. Graphics are phenomenal. The gameplay is a lot more deep than people like. If you watch someone play, it's really boring, but there's constant. It's just like a mini game, walking with your packages and balancing and
maybe
stamina.
I'm gonna. You know what I may do, Salt, and I even want to get Wilmy on because even though Wilmy said he didn't care for it, I want to get all opinions on here. I may want to do a Death Stranding roundtable at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you're thinking about, I think it's on sale still. I don't know. It might be, but like I said, take it from me. I have no reason to shill for this shit. Like I was dumping on it like more than anybody else. I caught my L, and I said I apologize to Kojima. He retweeted it. I'm still playing it. So Twitter also Saltiest Gaming, the eyes of one, and that's in my YouTube Saltiest Gaming, 2 words.
Awesome, Salt. Thanks for being here. I truly appreciate it. And then I've got Enrique. I learned something from Enrique tonight, that he should only have 1 margarita before a podcast. That's what I found out tonight.
Come on. It was entertaining.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Enrique, let everybody know where they can find you, buddy. And thanks so much for being here tonight.
No, absolutely. I just want to say I love everyone on this podcast. And, I love everyone,
Yes.
Even though we may have a difference of opinions, the one thing we have in common, we love video games.
Yes.
We love gaming, seriously. And that's the one thing that matters most above everything else. So, give me a follow at Brap_podcast on Twitter, and you can catch the shenanigans with Slow Mo and Forte every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. And then I've got my buddy here, Gaming Forte. Forte, please let everybody know where they can find you, buddy. Love your insight into gaming, and I love even more than that, your battles with slow-mo. Let everybody know where they can find you, buddy, please.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm gonna back up my man Enrique and what he was saying. The one thing I loved about CrossFire today and what about Brap in general is that we can talk about a bunch of different things, but it always comes back to games. And I think that's what the fans of these shows enjoy the most. So that always appreciate just talking about games and let everything else fall where they need to fall at. But with that being said, you can catch me editing videos on Slow-Mo Backslap's channel because I am his editor-in-chief when it comes to everything he does. I do all his voiceover, so when you hear him talking, just remember that his gaming forte is the one that's putting that music and that magic behind that man's voice. You can also catch me at my own YouTube channel, Gaming Forte. You can also catch me on Twitter at gaming_forte and Xbox Live at Nautical and Gaming Forte on Steam. And if you want to play some Destiny, just hit me up on there and I'll definitely jump in and run you through some stuff.
No, he won't. He will abandon you. He will tell you he's getting on, and then he won't.
Come on, let's get on right now. Jump on right now.
If he actually did my videos, I will be saying Xbox Series X and
you got to be at least a 960 power level.
You know what? And another thing is, I'm willing to be. I am willing to embarrass myself just to prove a point when it comes to slow-mo.
Say Xbox Series.
At one point,
say Xbox Series X.
This is how you know. This is how you know. This is how you know games can change. This is how you know. Listen, this is how you know a game can change your opinion.
Say Sekiro.
At one point, shut up. At one point, me and Slow-Mo Backslap was tied at the hip at a game called Anthem. All the way back in February of last year, me and him was the only ones out here white knighting this game all of February into March. And when everybody else was out here telling us, man, that game sucks, why y'all keep playing it? We was up there white knighting the crap out of that game. But guess what? If you ask Slow-Mo Backslap, was he actually doing that? He'll tell you, I don't recall any of that mess because he's a fraud. He ain't gonna stand up to his own criticisms. Go ahead, brother.
Forte, yes. I was tweeting about Anthem this week.
Well, this week, before what were you saying about it before they decided to do these massive updates in the game? You were acting like that game didn't exist.
The game hasn't been updated that much. It still needs a whole lot of work.
Okay, and they're about to relaunch the game. So now you want to talk about it.
And it still sucks.
But you weren't saying we weren't saying that months ago, sir.
I acknowledge it sucks, and I play it. You can't acknowledge Destiny's faults, and you think it's more influential than Fortnite.
I make videos on Destiny's faults, sir.
You are on crystal meth. We're gonna get you.
I make videos on Destiny's
faults. I'm a cold Luca. We're gonna come fly in. There's gonna be an intervention.
I can't wait. Are you Slow-Mo? Are you and Forte on Luca's show tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta tune in for that.
I might look. Well, tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. I might not be able to make it.
Yeah, it's called an excuse.
What the?
Slow-Mo.
Come on.
That's called an excuse.
Come on, Forte.
Birthday, man.
Xbox like, can I get an outro? Real quick.
Look, man, catch me in Slow-Mo on Brap. That's where most of this freaking mess happens at, so enjoy that.
Appreciate it, Forte. Always good to have you in Sakura. He goes,
and it's called Sekiro, sir. What are you talking about?
That's how you pronounce
the first time he said it right.
That's great.
Finally.
Shout out real quick. Last but certainly not least, my brother, Xbox 448. Xbox, you got a big show going on tomorrow. Let people know about it.
How am I going to follow that?
I don't know. It's a tough one to follow.
You know how you can follow it? Invite us on your show.
Oh, there you go, Xbox. Do it.
Forte, I would invite you on my show, but the last time you never came.
That's a Forte move. Come on.
Brother.
That's what she said, except for Salty.
Oh, but guys, it is going down tomorrow on my channel. It is the next podcast. Me, K Mega, Predator, and of course, Crispy Bomb. We're not sure if he's going to be drinking or not. It's going to be a crazy show.
It's Crispy. He's going to be drunk.
Yeah.
Shout out to the community, man, because for like the past month or so, I've just seen the chat get bigger and bigger and bigger. So many people coming in to check out the show. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on my channel, Xbox 448, every Saturday, 7 p.m. And I will see you there tomorrow.
Appreciate that, buddy. Always great to have you, Xbot. You know that. And I got to say, one thing I've also got to agree with Xbot is over the past few weeks, it has been an unbelievably growing chat here on CrossFire. And I can't say thank you enough to all the support. Thanks for retweeting it out. I say this all the time. You guys have the power. It's the chat that has the power to make this show what it is. And also, while I have a second, I do want to thank at JMatrix76, who always helps me with all of my technical questions and inquiries and everything that goes on with the show behind the scenes. He's taught me how to do all this, and the show wouldn't look as good or run as good without him teaching me this. So I appreciate that. Check out at JMatrix76 on Twitter for any questions you may have on your podcast needs. That being said, guys, we will be back next Friday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, doing the same thing. Another panel, same usual suspects. Also, guys, do check out, I have him, all his information is always in the top right-hand corner. Check out Crap Gamer Reviews. Crap will be back on the show at some point. He's taking a little bit of a break. It's okay. We've been doing this for a long time, guys, and MNC will return. So, guys, we'll see you next Friday night. Appreciate it. Peace out. Thank you.
Woo!
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 Sakura.
Xbox Series X.
You guys are